to elect a flag bearer. As it stands, according to pollster Musa Dankwa of Global Info Analytics, Dr. Bawumia is in a very comfortable lead. Well, there have equally been prophecies saying that Kennedy GHOne will emerge flag bearer of the NPP. So tomorrow is going to be prophecy against data, or prophecy versus data, which one is going to come to pass. And trust that here at the EIB network will bring you very comprehensive coverage of the elections tomorrow, from when they start voting until when the last person votes and the announcement is made. Stay with us both online and on air, on ground. This is your election hub. You're welcome once again. I am Serwaa Amihere. Today, I'll be talking with my colleague journalists like we always do every Friday. But we'll be speaking with a member of Dr. Bawumia's team. She was the NPP parliamentary candidate for the Adentan constituency, and she's called Akosua Menu. You definitely do not want to miss that. I haven't had the chance to speak with her since she lost that seat. She couldn't win it because she was contending against the brother of the wife of the former vice president. We'll get into the details of all of that and, of course, look at, like I mentioned just a while ago, the prophecies that have come out against Dr. Bawumia. Basically, the prophecies that have said that it is rather Kennedy GHOne who is going to win, because Akosua Menu appears to be a very religious person, believes in prophecies maybe, and you know, the congregants of Prophet El Bernard's church say that his prophecies always come to pass. And we'll run you through some of them as we move along on the show. So you're welcome. And then you know that on Inside Out as well, we will open the phone lines to hear your thoughts on some of the things that have happened this week. So please stay with me. Get your phones ready when I open the phone lines. When you call, make your submission very, very, very short and brief so that others can get the opportunity to call and share their thoughts as well. So you're welcome to the show. Let's begin with our quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is by Walt Disney, and it reads, "The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing." The best way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So stop complaining, stop talking, just do it, as they say. Right, so that is our motivation for today, a little motivation for you, our quote of the day. Let's now bring you our video of the day. Our video of the day, our song of the day, Aso. 20 years later, and that's a remix of the very popular Aso by Kwabena. I don't know what you make of it. I love that song anyway, so whichever way it is presented, we're still going to love it and jam to it. But my favorite verse has got to be the Stone Boy verse. Very, 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 very good verse there. Anyway, it's now time for Inside Out. On Inside Out on Fridays, we open the phone lines, give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with us on the many things that have happened this week. It's been a very busy week. This week, we saw the streaming. In fact, we saw a personality that most of us didn't know. I can speak for myself. I didn't know who GHOne was, but now I know him. He came to Ghana on an African tour and found his way to Ghana, and it got everybody talking. You know, people got excited. There were many activities. There was the supercar spectacle at the what's the place called? The Independence Square. There was a bowl of jollof. There were so many things. He went to the massage parlor. He had shea butter, massage. He did his flips. He went to a croupon. You know, quite a number. And for me, it was very fascinating because I didn't know who he was. I had never heard of him. But very okay because I see that it's a Gen Z thing. He's 21 years, I'm told. But the few things that I saw, I liked it. I want to know what you make of it as well, you know. But I have seen reviews because from different places that he visited on the continent. And it appears that Ghana is where a lot of impact was actually made in terms of his own, you know, the kind of content that we put out for him. So, yeah, I want to know what you make of that. And yeah, right, he started his Ghana tour or streaming with a massage in that river. You know, there's so many beautiful things about Ghana that you should come experience, trust me. And so yes, there was GHOne. And you know, on the stream there were like 50 million people that were watching. That's nice. That's really interesting. Yeah, so that happened. And also the now Member of Parliament for Bandai, Matthew Nyindam. Well, he's going to have to go back to his role as Member of Parliament because the High Court in Tamale overturned the election results and ordered the Electoral Commission to do to conduct a rerun of the Pandai seat. But there were some technical problems. The technical problem was that when you want to file an election petition, you must come within 21 days of the gazetting of the results. It appears that the NDC candidates who sought to challenge the results did not abide by the timeline. So the Supreme Court this week has quashed and overturned the decision of the High Court, basically reinstating Matthew Nyindam as the Member of Parliament for the good people of Bandai. I want to know what you make of it. There's been a lot of mixed reaction. The NPP obviously very happy. The NDC is saying that there appears to be a new law at the Supreme Court. The rule of law is actually working. Do you believe same? Tell me what you think. And quite a number of other things have happened as well. Yesterday, we spoke to A+. He said he's an independent-minded person, but would any day want to do business with the majority. He also said President Mahama is his most respected politician as it stands. And Tomorrow, the NPP will be electing a flag bearer. I told you that earlier. If you're interested in who becomes the flag bearer, let me hear from you what your thoughts are. And you should be interested because the NPP is the biggest opposition that we have now. We need them to get this thing over and done with quickly so that we can have a formidable opposition, a working opposition, because there's a lot of divisions in the party, rightfully so, because they are getting into an election, and that is tomorrow. And mind you, we are going to be bringing you a very, wide, in-depth coverage of that elections tomorrow on your election hub, on TV, on radio, online. Please don't miss any part of our coverage. We will be here from morning till when the last person votes, the last vote is counted, and the winner is declared. And so call in. The numbers have been displayed on the screen. Please call and share your thoughts with us. Please, when you call, reduce the volume on your TV set so we'll be able to hear you. And let's exercise some decorum. No insults, no use of abusive language. When you do that, I'm going to cut you off. So let's respect each other. Let's make the submissions very brief so others can get the opportunity to call as well. So the phone lines are open. Do I have a caller? Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning. Oh, okay. I have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
You're looking pretty. You're looking pretty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and let's hear you.
My name is Akwesiajiman from Suhum. I'm calling from Suhum.
Akwesiajiman, you're calling from Suhum.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you know that's where I was born?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe then you hear from a Kwapin region thereabouts.
Well, I'm not from there, but I was born there.
There, okay.
Yes, I was born in Suhum.
That's nice.
Yes.
Anyway. Suhum is proud of you.
Thank you. Let's hear you.
Right. Well, all I'm saying is we want peace in the country, and we want the opposition to be vibrant, and I wish them well. That's all I want to say. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Akwesiajiman, for the call. We have another call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Serwaa Amihere.
Yes, is that Alaji?
This is Kinkaka.
Oh, Kinkaka, it's been a very long time. Where have you been?
Happy New Year. I've been around, just monitoring and feeling the reset of Ghana. Everything is and everything at some point.
Kinkaka, thank you so much for the call. Talk to me.
My issue this morning is about the NPP presidential primary is coming on. In fact, we need a stiffer opposition. Tomorrow they are going for their election. We don't want fights. Anyone who wins, they should come in and support the person. And we will defeat them 2028. And I want to commend Sami Jemfi and TOP for reviving and building our economy. Going forward, Ghana will borrow again. And thanks to John Dramani Mahama and Jinano Opoku for believing in them. And also Honorable Amakofi Boa for fighting illegal mining in Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Kinkaka for the call. We have another call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Mohammed. How are you?
Mohammed, thank you for the call. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Accra.
Okay, Mohammed, can you please speak up a bit for me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Mohammed, let's go.
Yeah. I just want to comment on issue concerning the issue this thing coming to Accra.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I just want to comment on his issue, his visit to Ghana. And one lesson we have to draw from his visit, especially you media practitioners. Anytime maybe like you want to do something, you should try to do your research well. Because sometimes you get opportunity and you think that opportunity give you the yardstick to make everything. But like man, your integrity is very important. You have to cross-check and do a very thorough work before you come on air. I think that's what I want to say. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much for the call. We have another call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, thank you so much for calling.
My name is Akoto Razak from Tamale.
Razak, thank you so much for calling. Let's hear you.
Yes, the issue of about the MPP presidential primaries.
Okay.
I think everyone has done his campaign, and the delegates have to decide who leads the MPP. But for me, I wish them well. No fight. Anyone who wins, the other aspirants must support. But what have they got to tell Ghanaians after the 8 years suffering of Ghanaians, where the reset agenda is ongoing, building Ghana for a better Ghana for all Ghanaians? That is my question to the people.
Thank you, Razak. Thank you for the call. I'll take my last caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Thank you so much for calling. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and let's hear you.
Ali, I'm calling from Tamale.
Unfortunately, I cannot hear anything. I did not hear your name.
I'm calling from Tamale. My name is Tahiru Ali.
All right. Let's hear you.
Yeah. I wish them to some people need MPP to get the one they want. There's no fight. If you want to fight, they have to organize themselves and go to safety. We need peace. We need peace. God bless them and to complete their election. Thank God. This is my all what I wish to say.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks for the call. And that's it for the phone line segment for Inside Out today. I'm grateful to everyone that called. And for those who couldn't call, I'm sorry. I know that I always make this promise, but you will agree that today I'm taking a few calls than, usual. But next week will be better. Thank you for calling. That's it for Inside Out. Up next is Sports Chat.
the coach of Morocco receiving the severest of sanctions, but then a fine and a 5-match CAF ban. Now, fans have come out that, Charlie, we want to pay for you, we want to pay for the coach, and the coach says, nah. Fans in Senegal and Senegalese internationals are saying that we want to pay for you, but the coach has rejected that attempt and says that obviously I have what it takes to take care of my own fine. So, a fine meted out to coach Pape Thiaw of the Senegal national team. Now, let's get to the Ghana Premier League, because big games coming up in the Ghana Premier League this weekend. Nations FC taking on Mediama Sporting Club later today. Bando out of Lions tomorrow would host Asante Kotoko. There's Vision FC up against Dreams FC tomorrow. Accra Suffolk could be at the University of Ghana Stadium and take on Bechim United. Karela United face Hohwe United. There's Gold Stars up against Swedro Blacks. Eduana face Samatex. Basake Oli Stars would take on Brekum Chelsea, and Young Apostles would play 11 Wonders in the Ghana Premier League. Well, the English Premier League is also getting interesting, and we have some big games coming up. There's Brighton Hove Albion taking on Everton tomorrow at 3 p.m. Leeds play Arsenal 3 p.m. Wolves take on Bournemouth. There's Chelsea up against West Ham United at 6:30, and then at 5:30, and then at 8 p.m. there's Liverpool up against Newcastle. Aston Villa take on Brentford. Manchester United, yes, we are back. Manchester United is back, and we take on Fulham on Sunday at 2 p.m. Forest play Crystal Palace. Biggest game of the weekend is when Spurs will take on Manchester City in the English Premier League. Let's head to the Australian Open, because Arena Sabalenka is set to take on Rabakina tomorrow in the Australian Open in the world of tennis. And, well, tomorrow at 8:30 a.m., these two ladies would meet. It promises to be interesting because both, athletes have done so well, made it this far. And to the men's event, well, we see Alcaraz. Alcaraz is actually in a lead right about now. Yes, up against the man Zverev, and he is in pain, we understand. Yes, he's picked up cramps, but still playing. He's leading the set 2-1. Let's see if he can continue to win the set. Later today, there is one game, as we see Djokovic taking on Yannick Sinner at 8:30 a.m. in the other semi-final in there. That's all for sports this morning, but do join us for the game at exactly 1 p.m. with Monica and GHOne. And then for radio lovers, there's a Star Sports Digest at 12:30 p.m. on Star 103.5 FM. I'm Jones ADZI, and of course, we're outside.
Jones, thank you so much. Stay with me. After the break, we'll be sitting with our guests. This is GH Today. journalists like we always do, and I've been saying. International Airport. Just when you enter the airport, you find them to your left, and they have beautiful, beautiful jewelry for you to buy. And now they're selling gold chips, or I think they're chips, right? Invest in gold. They say. So please contact them. Caveman Erotica is not just a watch; it's a confession. It's forged for the bold and worn by those who understand that luxury is not loud but deliberate. Every curve, every finish, every measured second speaks to intimacy, power, and unapologetic self-expression. This is time stripped of innocence, time dressed in intention. The Erotica collection blurs the line between precision and crafted with just tell us that the watch is nice and luxurious. Now, okay, please visit www.cavemanwatches.com or call or WhatsApp 055-855-2046 to purchase yours. Caveman Erotica, own the moment, control the time, indulge the allure. Caveman Watches, be remembered. Those are the watches that you can customize, right? Write your name on it. So if you're looking for Valentine gift ideas, you probably should get one of those watches for your favorite people. Are you a young entrepreneur, a woman building something remarkable, or running an SME ready to expand across borders? Well, then this is your moment. Under the patronage of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of the Republic of Ghana, and in partnership with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, the Africa Prosperity Network presents the Africa Prosperity Dialogues 2026. Under the theme, Empowering SMEs, Women and Youth in Africa's Single Market to Innovate, Collaborate and Trade. This all-important African meeting takes place at the Accra International Conference Center from the 4th to the 6th of February 2026. The 3-day Africa Prosperity Dialogues will be accompanied by Projet Afrique exhibition, and the event will culminate with the Africa Prosperity Champions Awards and gala dinner at the Kempinski Hotel on 6th February 2026. Network with leading investors, access real funding, and learn how to trade across Africa's market of 1.5 billion consumers. This isn't just another conference, it's your avenue to continental success. Register now at africaprosperitynetwork.com or WhatsApp +233 536 098 325. Their sponsors and partners include the Afri-Exim Bank, AFDB, Arab Bank for Economic Development, KGL, Telecel, Rigworld, Fitbank, Fabrimetal, RNAQ Holdings, Goldboard, ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development, the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, the Ghana Tourism Development Company, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. And if you love talking on the phone, MTN Free After One Extra is here. What it means is that you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes you talk. This also means that for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute. Wow. And you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. If you like what you hear, that's not all. You also get 50 megabytes of data for free after your first call daily. So you see, it's now time to talk extra with all of the people that you love. To subscribe to MTN Free After One Extra, dial *550#. I repeat, *550#, and follow the prompts. Okay, Yeah, that was a long one, but we are finally done. This morning, I'm joined by Ibrahim Al-Hassan. He's the head of current affairs here at the EIB network, and he's also the producer of GH Today. Ibrahim, good morning. Audu Mahama is the managing editor for the Custodian newspaper. Audu, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And Fred Doho, I hope I got the name, Doho,
Yes.
who is a new member of the team. He's a diplomacy and international relations correspondent for the EIB network. And this morning, even though he'll be discussing all the topics with us, his area of expertise, which is international relations, he'll be telling us how important or how useful Aisho Speed's visit has been to us as a people.
Oh,
and and
Oh,
we also will.
started too early.
We'll also
Relax.
we also have Wilberforce Osari. He's the political editor for Asase Radio. Wilberforce, good morning.
Tis well.
Do you all see Wilberforce's iPad that has the coat of arms? We are all using ordinary Ghanaian iPad. This man alone got his iPad from the presidency. Please take notes and do whatever you want to do with this information I've just given.
I'm celebrating Ghana.
Are you?
Yes.
Anyway, so gentlemen, you're all welcome to the show. Please, some ground rules. Don't make noise. When you make noise, I will mute your microphone. And don't interject.
What do you mean by noise?
This message is for somebody.
And the person has immediately accepted it and reacted to it. You are so predictable.
No, but why not?
He said no.
That's who I am.
Why not?
Why not? That's where I am. I don't pretend.
You took the bait.
I don't pretend. You know it.
But you heard what he said.
That is why I'm saying that. I've always said. No, it's not a bait. I know you were directing it at me.
And you took
Because
the bait.
I showed symptoms of her.
Anyway, you're all welcome once again. So let's start with the Supreme Court's 4-1 decision on the Bandai seat. Now, for those of you who are probably wondering or thinking that the Supreme Court went into the merits of the case, that's not what the Supreme Court was invited to do. The Supreme Court was invited to decide on whether or not the election petition was filed within the 21-day window that is, allowed by the law. That is what they were invited to decide on. You know that once you file an election petition, when it comes to parliamentary elections, you have to do it at the High Court. And the final appellate court is the Court of Appeal. And you must file this petition within 21 days after the gazetting of the results. Now, the NPP's argument was that this election petition was filed beyond the 21 days. The NDC says that when the first gazetting was done, some 4 constituencies were not gazetted, right? And the Electoral Commission subsequently updated their websites with the other 4. And so by virtue of that update, all the other gazetting was null and void and should have been, the number of days should be counted from when the update was done. I don't agree with that. But, who am I? I don't matter. But the Supreme Court that matters has said that the election petition was not filed within the appropriate time. I'm going to start with Wilberforce on this one, because Wilberforce for years has been reporting from the court, covered a lot of election petitions. Wilberforce, any surprises there? And then I want you to also look at the commentaries that have followed this decision. Some have said that we now have a working Supreme Court, not the one that will go in favor of whichever political party is in power.
So, I am a defender of the judicial service.
Right.
And for that matter, the judiciary. I will not, under any circumstance, allow anybody to derogate on the judiciary. And that is a personal decision. Now, that is the reason why even when we disagree with the decisions of the Supreme Court, we still respect it. Why? Because we don't want to derogate on the authority of our courts, and for that matter, the apex court of the land. And so, the Supreme Court in recent time have taken some decisions that you will sit somewhere and disagree with them. You listen to lawyers and they are divided. Some agree, some disagree, which is the norm from the little that I know with my interaction with the judicial service, with lawyers and with the law. And so I think that the decision of Pandai is a reminder to everybody that the last port of call for us as a people is always the judicial service or the judiciary. And so no matter what the issues are, don't derogate on that institution. Today you agree with them, tomorrow you disagree with them. When you agree with them, hallelujah. When you disagree with them, you must be magnanimous enough to also say hallelujah. Because the decisions they take today may favor your side. The decisions they take tomorrow may not favor your side. In the year 2025, the Supreme Court has taken decisions that, or the year just gone by, took some decisions that, and as an ordinary innocent bystander, I disagreed with it. But I never insulted or derogated on the Supreme Court. I heard some people, they said all kinds of things, terrible things. Some people even go ahead of attacking the individuals who sat on the bench to decide those cases. This decision about Pandai was decided by 5 members of the court. The Supreme Court currently has 19 members. Do you know that? They have 19 justices at the Supreme Court. Only 5 of them sat and took the decision that they took about Pandai. But it is a Supreme Court decision. It is a decision of the entire court. So I am using this opportunity to caution anybody who attempts to insult the members of the judiciary, and for that matter, members of the Supreme Court, when the decision is taken and you don't like it. And this is for both sides, because I have seen members of the NDC call out the Supreme Court and insult people. In fact, insult individuals. Chief Justice Getutokonu, for example, got very insulted for decisions that the Supreme Court took because she was the one presiding. Should we be insulting Justice Gabriel Pwamang, who was presiding in this case, even though he dissented? Should we insult him for the decision that the Supreme Court has taken? Or should we vilify him for the decision the Supreme Court has taken? No. So I think that the Pandai decision is progressive. It is a respect for the law and the respect for procedure. And that if you don't go by the procedure, the court will be invited to correct you and to put you in line. That is all that this case is about. And I heard you trying to explain what the Supreme Court was invited to do and the fact that they accepted the invitation and gave a decision on it. So I'm going to end my comment by emphasizing the fact that let's all be careful, especially the political class. Let's be careful about how we speak and don't speak about our judiciary and about our Supreme Court in particular. They will take decisions going forward. The decisions they take will favor you sometimes. It will not favor you sometimes. When it favors you, accept it, move on. When it doesn't favor you, don't insult the court. Respect it and take up the challenge. I've heard that the NDC says, or the parties that went to court who didn't win said they are going to go for a review. It was a 4-1 majority decision. The review means that the court will be invited to add 2 more members to it to make it 7. So if the other 2 that are added even rule in favor of the applicants, the defendants in the matter, it will still come up to 4-3 and you will still lose. So technically speaking, their lawyers should be advising them that review, quote unquote, here. Let's move on. Good morning.
Yes, I'll come to IB. IB has dealt a lot with the Nandai MP and even in Parliament. I saw a video of him at the Supreme Court, the front of the Supreme Court after the decision, where he was thanking God for what he has done in his life.
Yes.
So I, on this platform, had mentioned that if there is any reprieve that could come to Matthew Nyindam, it can be from the courts.
Right.
Because going for a rerun would have just spelled doom for him.
Right.
A party in power still had 3 years ahead to execute his mandate. When you go for a by-election or a rerun in a constituency that has not been safe for one party, especially for the NPP, he was going to lose. So we were really keenly monitoring happenings in court. And like you rightly said, the Supreme Court had got its job cut out for it. Like I said, I'm surprised we are now having a gray area. And I'll be very, very interested in reading what Justice Foreman will write in his dissenting opinion. I would really, really, really love to read his dissenting opinion. My reason is this. So the argument came to when the gazette is done, or gazetting is done, and there's an update, does it nullify the original gazette? In the end, that was the overriding question. Now, the 4 justices said no, because gazetting is done, the EC communicates to Parliament as to members of Parliament who have been elected. They are sworn into office. So if the argument is about gazetting, then the original gazetting that left out 4 constituencies still stood. Because there were people who were challenging the outcome of the parliamentary elections. They went to court based on the first gazette. People went to court based on the first gazetting that was done. They were granted hearings based on the first gazetting that was done, right? So if the argument is that the subsequent update should nullify the original gazette, the 4 justices said, no, that cannot be. Now, Justice Foreman, who interestingly was the president of the panel.
Presiding.
Presiding, in essence. The presiding judge, right, dissented. That did not sway any of the other members of the panel. And to me, that's quite profound and that's quite instructive. Nonetheless, yes, the argument about the Supreme Court is now working, this is not unanimous, FC and what have you. I consider every case based on its merit, even as a layman.
Right.
And that's why whenever we have conversation around the judiciary, I tell you, Serwaa, that I've never understood the birth certificate judgment. Not yesterday, not today, and I will never understand it tomorrow. But it was a judgment that emanated from the court. We disagreed with that judgment as citizens. And we made that point vociferously that we disagreed. The Martin Amidu and then the retirement age judgment. We disagreed with that. We made our opinion known. But it's a lesson to the political class. You see, it is the political class that says the Chief Justice has been removed. And now the judiciary will be in bed with the executive. Well, if that's the case, then this seat should have just been gifted to the executive. Because it's the executive that wanted the seat, right? The NDC is in power, right? But we must get to a point where cases are, especially political cases, are determined based on their merits. Now, there was an appeal that had been filed. It's moot now as we speak. So it's as if Nyindam never left Parliament. And I'm happy for him. See, I'm happy for Matthew Nyindam. I'm equally happy with the fact that we have due process. The NDC says it's waiting for the reasoning. I will have wished that the reasoning, at least some snippet of it, usually when judgments are being read, we are given something. And we say the detailed reasoning will come subsequently. But in this case, I've engaged Mutala, our correspondent, and he tells us that nothing was said. It is this, the voting decisions that was made public, that 4 of the members of the panel agree with the...
Reasoning will be out on the 6th of February.
Yes, and I have a problem with that. At least they should have given us something
to
work with. No, the point I'm making is that, so for instance, when the Supreme Court judgment on the election petition came, something was read, and then we're told that subsequently the detailed one will be made available. That's the point I'm making.
It's not always the case.
It's not always.
No, yes, I get that. But that's the point I'm making, that
instance,
I would have wished that that was done. Nonetheless, it's good. See, NDC says it will consider review. I think they should just let go. to be honest with you. The NDC should just let go. I don't think that there are individual winners and individual losers in this case. I think this is a victory for the judiciary, and let's recognize it as such.
Okay, Audu.
Yes. So, what question am I answering? You asked everybody to speak on specific issue.
No, I did not.
Okay. The Supreme Court has ruled based on evidence and the issue that was presented to the APS court, right? The applicant said that the case was filed out of time, right? Yeah. Now, per CI 127, if you disagree with an election, you file within 21 days after Gazette notification. And the applicant said that the case was filed outside time. And that was what was taken to the Supreme Court. Now, I am surprised that there was a dissenting view on this matter. And that's why, as you said, I'll also be expecting the view of the dissenting judge. Because it's the same APS court that ruled on a similar case. And that the gazetting of the parliamentary results were done on 24th December 2024, right? That's the date of Gazette. And in that ruling, it stated that only 4 constituencies were not gazetted. And the 4 constituencies did not include Pandai. So the matter is settled for me. It is settled that if you file outside a period, it meant that you had no case at all. The High Court should not have entertained the matter. Now it goes to the Supreme Court based on its own decision on the previous case, 4-1, decided that the applicant was right. Now, this talk about oaths, the court is now working because it is not unanimous 5, unanimous 7, unanimous that. I have said all those things are political talks, but not based on evidence. If you go to court and you don't present anything, you come out with nothing. You go to the APS court, you don't present anything, you come out with nothing. This so-called unanimous 5, unanimous 7 they've been talking about, you went to Supreme Court with your case. In fact, your key witness, I don't know whether he was how do you call it? The lead witness. Yes. How do you call it? So the witness in chief, or how do you call it? The principal witness was given a calculator in that case to calculate, use his own figures that he presented to court. He calculated, it was very clear that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won the 2020 general election. He himself with the calculation. So if he has agreed that Akufo-Addo won the election with his calculation, with his own figures that he presented to court, and the judges simply agreed with what the general secretary of the party said, he was the national chairman, right? Yeah. Said, why do you say, all the judges agreed that this was the case, why do you say that? Because they all agreed, something went wrong, and therefore you label them as unanimous 7. I think it's not fair. It is not fair the way politicians behave. It is not fair. I had serious issue with even the way the High Court handled the whole matter. We said it here. The instance that the applicant then, at the High Court, the petitioner, presented a matter to it that he had issues with some few polling stations, polling centers, and you, the High Court judge, decide that, no, I am going to call for a run in all the polling centers. How fair was that decision at the High Court? I think that justice had been done to Nyendam. He was validly elected with votes more than 3,700 in the constituency, and therefore I think the Supreme Court has simply endorsed his election. even though we all agree that the merit of the case was not gone into. Based on practicality, you lawyers will say, how do you call procedural is as important as the substantive case. So if you procedurally you don't follow procedure, you lose your case even before the case is gone into. So I'm saying that look, let politicians stop this thing about. If you agree with the judgment of a court, you may criticize the judgment based on what you think should be the case. But if you don't get it, I think that because I've not gotten it, the court is wrong. I think that we'll create a situation where nobody will have any trust in the court. And that is the last thing we want to have in this country.
Okay. Fred.
I'm reserving my energy for something.
Fred is very suited this morning.
Anyway,
looking like a UN official.
Good morning to our cherished viewers, and good morning to colleagues on the show. In fact, I want to proceed by saying that, first of all, I am not a lawyer, and I won't pretend to know what really pertains in the law courts. I've been there a number of times during the election petition in, I think, one of the years 2020 or so. And then again, I've been in court in my previous workplace when the court correspondent isn't available. And so I'm not going to really ascribe to myself things I do not really know that or procedures that pertains to how the court works. But that notwithstanding, we all do admit that a court ruling is subject to individual opinion. And so we can all pass our comments. Where we disagree, we can put it out, and where we do affirm what the justices of the Supreme Court say, we can equally make that clear or known. For me, I would want to put it this way, that the Supreme Court actually saved the taxpayer some resources. You do know that when these anti-corruption agencies or institutions, when they go into their cases and sometimes they stop some perceived corruption or alleged corrupt practices, they come out to say that, oh, this would have cost the Ghanaian taxpayer this amount of money, and we've been able to succeed in stopping that in its track. And so that tax or that resource is not going to go waste. So I would proceed on that tangent and say, what colleagues have said on this platform, I do agree to some large extent. But my personal opinion is that the progress must be made at this moment. And one, since there is not going to be any re-election or rerun of that Bandai seat, the taxpayer is saved some resources that can be channeled into some useful development projects. The courts, in their reasoning for one judgment, is not one that anyone can take lightly. These are justices of the Supreme Court. They know their staff. They know the rules. And the fact that if you are supposed to gazette election results 21 days, you can now proceed to take that matter to court, and you waited for that time to elapse. If you progress, you proceed to court. I mean, the justices in their wisdom saw the reasoning to say that no, this isn't the best way to go. They believe that the 21-day ultimatum, you should have fall within that and do your job as a political party or even an interested party. If you're a major stakeholder in an election such as this, you have so much interest. You should know the rules that govern that election, from your political party rules to the laws that really govern that election. And so I don't think the NDC in this regard got it right to say that they were waiting for the 4 other constituencies result to be added to the overall total before the Gazette, and that would really inform their decision to proceed to court. Because each constituency is usually handled in their own merit. We were in this country when it happened that, just like my colleague made reference to, in that particular court case, the election petition case, there were justices who said if a pink sheet is not signed, it does not invalidate the entire.
That was 2012.
You get it. So if one constituency, you have issues with that constituency and you did not proceed, and you want a situation where the rest are lumped together and say that because 4 other constituencies were not gazetted, you want to really proceed to court on that basis. Personally, I think that wasn't right on the part of the political party that went to court, first of all to the High Court, and then I do really appreciate the fact that Matthew Nyindam really proceeded to the Supreme Court to seek further ruling on this matter, and I think that should settle it. For me, the court has just saved us our resources. That is, I mean, I can only put it blank as it is. Yeah. There is nothing one can really hide behind the scene to say this, you should have done it this way or that way. If the 4 justices sitting on the matter say, indeed, what you've brought before us, the time you are supposed to fall within, you allowed that to elapse and you proceeded to this court to seek their intervention to, as it were, annul a whole constituency election just to advance your interest. I think the Supreme Court did a ruling that has really satisfied everyone's interest. And I don't think the NDC should progress at this stage to say that they want to seek review. Well, they are entitled to the fact that they can go into their own corner with their lawyers and then review the case. And then that would inform their, I mean, elections are going to be run in this country in the near future. That should inform how they proceed with other elections, and if they are aggrieved with any aspect of the elections, they know when to fall within the time allocated for them to proceed to court. Serwaa.
Knowing when on the time allocated to them to proceed to court is a matter of public knowledge.
Of course, I mean,
it's very clear.
So one of the things that we also need to talk about is the fact that there was a lawyer who studied the outcome of the case that was presented at the High Court.
Okay.
And saw the gaps
right
in the case and decided to pursue it.
That part. Okay.
That part.
Okay.
And so you also need to recognize that.
Oh yes, of course. Nyindam recognized the contribution of his legal team. Yes. And of course, first of all, God, and then the contribution of his money.
The fact of the matter, it appears to me that the matter of the time this petition was filed at the High Court was not raised by Nyindam's lawyers at the place.
At the High Court.
So that is where, after the rule, they saw that, look, let's look at where we can get loopholes after the High
well,
Court.
they say your case is as good as your lawyer.
So
if you find
if we should take, yes, you know.
But that notwithstanding, you can equally go to the court and in some instances win with this same argument to some extent. I mean, I'm saying that some justices could have sat on this same matter and say that they still do agree with the first applicants who went to the High Court ruling. We've seen a number of them in the past. So I mean, it is subject to what the justices.
So.
It is based on evidence that you.
Yes,
that is fine.
Because you know, I don't want us to spend too much time on this because we have other issues to talk about. But I mean, sometimes when the facts are very clear, the evidence is clear, and that is when the decision goes south. There's a lot of uproar because then it will be setting a very bad precedent that, you know, gazetting of election results can change, and it can affect many other things. And I don't think that, you know, that's a precedent that the justices of the Supreme Court want to set. You know,
so especially when there was a previous case that the Supreme Court itself determined that the gazette notification was done on 24th, excluding only 4. It was determined, and the 4 did not include
the Pandai city.
Okay, let's move on. I'll save the NPP's elections for the last, but let's talk about US YouTuber Aisha Speed. For which one?
The NPP one.
Oh,
so producer, which one should we go first with?
Okay, let's start on NPP. Right. So I'm sure that one we can just close.
No, but let's get this out of the way.
Yes.
So, US YouTuber Aisho Speed was in Ghana on his African tour. Got here, went to very lovely places. Started the tour with a massage at the in the water,
waterfall.
The waterfall. Yeah. Even I who live here haven't experienced any of this, including the shape. Is this a brie or
yes.
it is you know the.
They say
no, you know what's the place called? Safari Valley. That area.
Yeah.
This looks like that place though.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
In Okre constituency.
Right. So he started the streaming with that. He went to a few places. There was the supercar spectacle at the Independence Square. There was jollof for him to eat.
He didn't fall in it. He flipped into it.
Okay, but he was in the jollof.
How big was the pan?
You see,
falling. Well, you can deliberately fall.
Probably he wanted to flip over it, and then what's it?
You know, but anyway, I don't know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then he had. A lot of conversations around his visits. I don't know what you make of it, IB. Well, no, IB, no. Hold on. Let me start with Fred because Fred is our international relations expert.
Serwaa, thank you. I want to start by saying that, you see, the gentleman's coming to Ghana has been one of the eye-opening experiences for many of us. Personally, I didn't know there is this Shea Butter museum that exists in Ghana. I didn't know until this guy came to Ghana. As for the waterfall massage, I've seen it once on social media. I've not experienced it before. So there are times, just like journalists, you can be in one community reporting every day. Someone from outside would come to that same community and earth a particular story, blow it out there for the public to notice that this is some grave issues that need attention. So I think the gentleman came to Ghana with one mission, or he came to Africa with one mission, to sell Africa to the world, to erase that misconception that a number of people do have about Africa. And he succeeded in doing just that. What would be a better way to appreciate him in that regard? Many say he's been to 20 African countries. And so why should Ghana now offer him a passport, a Ghanaian passport? Let me make that clear. A Ghanaian passport, not a diplomatic passport. One, he's established personally, or he's even proclaimed personally, that his mom is a Ghanaian. And we all do know that the constitution of this country allows that if one parent is a Ghanaian, you are a Ghanaian. That fact must be put out there. It is a statement he's made, and that must be subjected to some interrogation. I do agree with people who want us to now dig deep to know if it is true or not. And that should be left to those who matter in this regard to do. So that is one leg of the conversation. He's proclaimed that his mom is a Ghanaian. I don't know what we would need beyond that, aside the investigation to establish that, to say that, yes, he's a Ghanaian. He's been to Nigeria, Liberia, he's been to a number of countries. He's never mentioned anywhere that he is a citizen or his relative or his parents are from any of those countries. He only got here to make that known and let that be established. Two, we are talking about a gentleman who has a number of following on the internet, which one would term the digital economy. We know that is where the gold is being, mined at this moment.
Digital economy.
You get it? So we have a digital economy where your social currency would really determine your value in some circumstances. So the gentleman coming to Ghana and establishing that fact, Amihere got in touch with the Foreign Affairs Minister per the post the Foreign Affairs Minister made. And they had this discussion, and it was affirmed that indeed he's half Ghanaian, and so it is right and proper to now acknowledge him and give him that identity. Now, what would that passport do for him or do for Ghana? That would be another leg of the conversation. That passport now gives this guy all the rights he deserves to come to Ghana to say, I am starting an investment in this country. Because ordinarily, how he will be treated now as a citizen will be different from how a foreigner will be treated if he wants to invest in this country. If you want to acquire any property in this country, how you be treated, definitely the terms and requirements would vary from what would be extended to a foreigner. So it is that measure to bridge the gap and to give him that identity wherever he goes. And this guy with that large following, mentioning and identifying himself as a Ghanaian, gives Ghana automatically that leverage to also say that we are tapping from all that he's gained so far, and that we are going to use to boost our economy and largely also invite the diaspora into this country. Now, this is not the first time someone is being offered citizenship or a passport in this country. In 2019, over 190 people were affirmed, they were diaspora, they were affirmed in this country as Ghanaians. Okay? In 2024, I think, in 2024 November, about 540 people went through the same process, and they were also affirmed as Ghanaian. They just identified their gene and their ancestry and traced it to this country, and that became basis for which the president really honored them with citizenship. So it wasn't anything out of the ordinary, where the minister, after confirming with the right sources and coming to that logical conclusion that giving him a Ghanaian passport further enhances his identity, further gives us that leverage to invite more people into this country to invest, and also let people feel belong and give this guy an identity. You can never in this discussion discount the fact that the population or the number of people that follow this guy is quite huge. Close to 100 million people, which is like 3 times the population of Ghana, even if children are allowed to own social media handles. If every single person in this country, the last time I checked, our population was a little over 30 million. If everyone is supposed to be on social media, we can still not match the value that guy would bring on board as far as the passport that was issued to him is concerned. And that does not in any way devalue our passport. I personally got in touch with my sister, my friend Lily, and I told her that, oh, well, maybe seeking clarification would have really helped in shaping the conversation and the editorial. The content, one would say she got it right, but the manner and way she communicated it, that is where a number of people had issues with it. Okay. Even that is subject to a number of debates. But I think we should just progress and find every means possible, give this guy the identity he deserves, and that brings him to home, so that we can all have that sort of benefit we can leverage from him in the digital economy.
Okay. IB.
Yes. So, quite interesting, right? Very interesting conversation. So, as we speak in Ghana, we prepared for his coming. In fact, on this platform, I had mentioned that kudos to the Ghana Tourism Authority. We picked 1 or 2 lessons from what happened in Nigeria, where people were begging him for money, right? And so here, we didn't do that. So we covered ourselves in glory. Now, aside that, there were a number of activities lined up for him. But first of all, let's not lose sight of the fact that this guy is engaged in show business, right? So the stranger the things he engages in, the more following he gets. And he gets paid because he streams on YouTube. based on the number of engagement, number of subscriptions, number of streams. If you feel what we did for him in Ghana was too much, just go and watch when he went to China, communist China. China has placed a ban on YouTube. So YouTube is not accessible in China unless you are using VPN. But they made an exception for him because they need him to clean up their image. So the state, the communist state of China, invested that much into his engagement in the communist country that people are not even allowed to freely watch YouTube. That should tell you something about soft power, Serwaa. That's where we are. He mentioned digital economy. I talk about soft power. Now, so at the point when he went to Nigeria, went to Benin, went to Kenya, honestly, I had not followed. So I was wondering, would he come to Ghana? I said it would have been sacrilegious if he didn't come to Ghana.
Right.
Not knowing his bodyguard is even a Ghanaian. And that we got to know that the entire tour, the 28-day tour, was put together by Ghanaians. Right? So that's beautiful. Some of the things he did, I will not endorse. Like flipping into the jollof. Yeah. Culturally. You might want to say that he wanted to do something that will get all of us talking for him to get the engagement. But you don't waste food. In the country,
didn't waste it. People ate it.
Can you imagine?
But I mean,
that's even worse.
Right.
Yes, dehumanizing, to be very honest. Yeah.
So that I don't endorse.
Yeah.
I also don't endorse the fact that we gave him branded jollof. We missed the opportunity there. Get somebody to prepare locally made jollof and branded. And I can say that his reason to choose the Nigerian jollof over that of Ghana is because our own is branded.
No,
so if he had,
did he make that category?
No, he said I'll go with Nigeria. He said that. He said I'll go with Nigeria. He said I'll go with Nigeria.
Before he flipped, he made the point that
he did say
he said he goes with Nigeria. So I strongly believe that it's because the jollof we gave him is branded. If he had said I go with Ghana, you know what that means? He's endorsing somebody's brand. Had there been an engagement for him to endorse somebody's brand? So we missed the point there. We dropped the ball by giving him a branded jollof, point blank.
Right.
We could do better. Just get somebody to prepare jollof at home and then present that jollof. Besides, that is the jollof we know. Not the jollof that they use some gadgets to prepare and what have you. No, the homemade jollof is what we know. So we missed the point there. Now, back to the passport conversation. See, Serwaa, the man is a celebrity. He is an influencer. He has his own economy. What many Ghanaians don't know, and I think we should let them know, is that we wanted to, as a country, tap into that. As a country, we wanted to tap into his economy. And so, if as a country we decide to entice him, because I see the passport issuance as an enticement. You know what he says subsequently? He wants to buy a home in Ghana. Where would that money go to? After buying the home, what will he do next? What would this mean for many others in the US and in the diaspora communities who want to make Ghana their home? So it is a pitch that we have made. It has its pros and cons. So people can disagree, and trust me, I would defend the position of anybody who disagrees that, see, we shouldn't just give our passports to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. My disagreement will be that Speed is not Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay. He has the following he commands. He has his strength that as a country wanted to tap into. And that's what we're seeking to do. What would the passport, and I've seen that question. He holds an American passport, which is counted among the strongest passports in the whole world, right? So what will the Ghanaian passport do for him? He can come here without a visa, right? He can come to Ghana without a visa. And trust me, if you speak to the people who want to acquire visas in the US to come to Ghana, they tell you it's stressful. Forget about the money. They tell you it is very stressful. That's why at the point we said visa on arrival. So you get to Kotoka and then you are issued with that visa. So it is a way of making things easier for him to come to Ghana. And then we'll keep benefiting from the influence that he wills. You are allowed to disagree, right? Okay. Yes, Fred touched on this, but of course, Unless others start on it, then I'll come and specifically talk about, because I produced the show, what happened on the show the last time. Yes, but for now I yield.
I will do.
Yes. So what is this whole debate about? It is about somebody, a young man called Darren Jason Watkins.
Yeah.
And showbiz name, I show what? Speed.
I show speed.
I show speed. Me, I'm not a social media person, because what goes on there sometimes.
I am a social media person, but I didn't know him.
Exactly. You see, I didn't actually know him until.
But he's a Gen Z guy,
Yeah.
so I didn't know him at all. So you are not alone.
I am. What is my category?
You are millennial. Right?
I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
Is there something before
we have
millennial?
We have.
No, I know before millennial, because you are not a millennial.
No, there's nothing before millennial though.
There's
something. I'll find it. Go ahead.
Before computer, maybe you will be before.
No, I am not. What do you mean? Oh, the way you are taking me is so far.
Okay,
see,
let's.
I frankly, there's not much to be said about the passport. As he said, passports were given to other foreign nationals in this country, Ghanaian passports. And those were equally criticized by people in this country. So how on earth will somebody criticize a minister or government for giving passport to a foreign national, be a subject or the person to apologize to the minister? Why would, now that if you criticize somebody for official or government for taking a decision that he or she disagrees with, that becomes subject for that person to apologize.
Who told you she was forced?
Who
told you she was forced to apologize?
Did I say she was forced?
You said.
Did I say that? I said that becomes a subject for her to apologize.
You used the word.
Oh, so then I insinuated, but I didn't mention force.
He didn't?
I didn't mention force. Okay. She was forced to. Why? Even if I mention it, I'll be right. Okay. Why would that happen?
But she wasn't.
No problem. Okay. The fact that I even have issues with her, why she should apologize. Otherwise, probably you told her that if she doesn't apologize, you sack her from your organization. Why? Is it the first time? Is it the first time a decision has been taken by government and criticized in this country? Is it the first time? In this your network. Yeah. You have criticized President Akufo-Addo for bad governance, for whatever. You even held KK. How bad Akufo-Addo has. Even worse, like it has been. Oh, Masajai.
No, not on this platform. Not on the show that I produce. I'll do. On this platform.
I have said it several times on this platform because I don't work in your organization. That's why you have not
allowed me to say Nkwasi on this platform. Oh.
I mentioned something that doesn't make sense.
Maybe it doesn't make sense. Yes, you are saying it doesn't make sense.
You know that the time is going, you know.
Oh,
you say you want to.
You are interjecting.
I'm just telling
you.
He
is interjecting. Okay. Let him flow. Let me flow. No problem. I am saying that I have serious problem with that apology that Lily Mohammed rendered. To who? To who? Do you know what that person has done to Akufo-Addo and this thing? You, because you say it is your network, maybe probably you are protecting your network. But I see that we dissent in this country. We should allow dissent in this country. That somebody takes a decision, policy decision, another person says, I disagree, and that becomes a subject for apology. Is that what you want to do so that if government takes any decision and I criticize it, me, Asaudu Mahama, you call me to apologize because I've criticized government decision? Why? Is it only if the guy is given passport? Is it only Ghanaian national who invests in this country? I've heard things that, it creates a good image for this country. Have you looked at the guy's own background when he started this? The issues he had? Have you people checked his background, how he had issues with people? He may be having followers. Yeah, that's good. Everybody has. You remember this musician who came to Jubilee House under Akufo-Addo? You were there. You were the correspondent. What's the name?
Meek Mill.
Meek Mill. The one who did the recording at the Jubilee House.
At the Jubilee House. It was a decision taken by the Jubilee House then. Government for the guy to do that. What didn't we do to Akufo-Addo?
But that was wrong, though. That was the seat of government.
What do you mean by seat of government?
He was cursing.
It was what?
He was cursing in the music
He was
video.
using the F word. Yeah.
F words and almost everything.
Has Lily used any this word? Has Lily insulted anybody?
No.
Has she insulted? If I say decision is in Kwasi Asem, has he insulted anybody? You see, you people, you have, you said I used force. But I believe that she was forced to apologize. Because your station is probably owned by an NDC person. And you don't want that tag to hang on you. If not, I have said that on this your platform, you have criticized government decisions. And nobody has asked Lily. And I'll try and produce those videos. Lily and Lantam. A few weeks to elections, what they said about Akufo-Addo and his government. Nobody from that previous administration asked them to apologize. Today, government takes a decision. A journalist says, I disagree. I didn't hear that. If she even said that, what is wrong with that? Did he say a black or the action, he was talking about the action taking. That's her opinion. If you think that her opinion is not it, that is her opinion. It should not lead to her apologizing to anybody, especially when she has not directly insulted anybody, but the decision that was taken. If we are going to let people apologize for expressing their opinion that are not injurious to the state, I think that will be stifling dissent in this country, particularly journalists. And any journalist who will support this, I think that you have a problem. You probably have a problem in your head. I'll say it on this platform. For a journalist to express an opinion, you ask the journalist to forcefully let the journalist up. Do you see the apology she was rendering? With heavy heart. I saw it. And that's not fair to her. Especially when the same person has criticized people on this platform that she was not asked to apologize.
Okay.
Why? Is it because it is NDC? When it is MPP person,
okay, Wilberforce, please come in
quickly. Okay. So
I'm not interested in what he brings to the country, whether he's an investor, he's a YouTuber, he has million followers. That is not the matter. The matter is that even if I don't have a passport, there are foreigners here who don't have Ghanaian passport. They have invested. They have done so many things.
Okay.
Why is it better than the guy who came and recorded things at Jubilee House? Was it not government decision?
Okay, Wilberforce.
What kind of hypocrisy are we?
So the YouTuber in question, I didn't know him. And he came to Ghana. He came to Ghana with the 12 most powerful passport, which is the American passport. If you look at the passport index, the American passport is currently ranked 12 most powerful in terms of the ranking, how many countries you can go to with it. And then Ghana's passport is ranked the 75th. So we are talking about somebody who has a 12 most powerful passport, and then we offering him our 75th passport. So technically speaking, this young man who came to Ghana didn't, quote unquote, need a Ghana passport. He didn't need it for anything. In fact, he has been going to how many countries?
20 countries
20
in Africa.
Something countries with his passport. And it was okay. So he didn't need a Ghanaian passport for anything.
But he needed a visa to enter those countries.
Fine, that's fine. I need a visa to enter most countries with my Ghanaian passport.
Maybe because you are nobody.
The only place I think I have gone without a visa is within West Africa. Even in Africa, when I was going to Kenya, I needed a visa. Ethiopia, I needed a visa. In Africa, with my Ghana passport. So visa is normal. That's diplomacy. And I am a student of international politics. And so I can also talk about international politics. But the point, I think that the real point for me is the fact that this YouTuber came to Ghana and showcased Ghana. I think that the level at which he showcased Ghana shocked some Ghanaians. Because even here on this platform, some of us are saying that there were things that he showed in his video that we never knew. Yeah. Okay, so he came to uncover our own tourism potential to us. And by uncovering that, I think out of excitement, we decided that let's do something to honor him. And in the wisdom of the Minister for Foreign Affairs, the best way to honor him was to issue him a Ghanaian passport and say that by the powers vested in us, we have ordained you a Ghanaian by force. Because you have come to help us to see.
It's not by force, by choice.
By choice, okay. You have come to help us to see what we have not been seeing. And that is how I see it. Okay. So if that is the picture, then we should not be seen telling a journalist that the journalist cannot rant about it. Because it was something that happened. I don't know the backdoor story. Maybe there were discussions that had gone on before the passport was issued or before the decision was taken. I don't know. I'm not privy to all that. But the point for me is that those happenings, this set of happenings that I've talked about, cannot form the basis on which we say that a journalist in Ghana cannot rant about the happenings. We have had our journalists rant about everything and anything in this country. Hey, Ibrahim, ahead of election 2024, in this our republic, in this our Ghana, the rantings that went on in this country on the media space, if we were going to pick pen and paper and ask people to apologize, the media would have been collapsed because people were ranting. So my point, really, and I'm not going to belabor it, is that journalists should not be prevented from ranting about some of these developments. Technically speaking, as journalists, we are not supposed to express opinion when we are on air and doing our work. We are supposed to, at best, do our analysis.
That's not true.
Well, in my personal view, I think that we are allowed to do our analysis about issues of national interest, but we are not allowed to express our opinion, because in this thing I'm saying right now,
opinion, one presenting news.
One presenting news.
One presenting
what
news.
we are doing here, we are actually expressing our opinions.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I feel as if, okay, well, I agree with you, but I think that I prefer to say that I am doing my analysis of the issues than to say I'm expressing my opinion, because my opinion about this matter, you don't want to hear it. But what I'm doing is my public analysis of the outcome of the issue.
All right.
So I don't think we should allow journalists, we should say that journalists should not rant about some of these national. We shouldn't gag journalists from doing that. Okay. Because if we do, it will hurt.
Okay, I have to take a break. Okay. Director says I need to take a quick break. So please, stay with me. After the break, there's more. This is GH Today. I am. You know, if only you guys. I'm beyond scandalized. Anyway, you're welcome back to the show. I'm here with Ibrahim Al-Hassan, Wilberforce Osari, Audu Mahama, and Fred Duho. Okay. If you just joined us, we've been talking about the visit of US YouTuber Aisha Speed here. Guys, we have to be very quick because I have quite a number of interviews lined up, and my guest, Akosua Menu, has been here since 7 a.m.
But she even came before us.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. She's been here since 7, and I don't want to keep her waiting any longer. So let's wrap up on this, then we can quickly talk about the NPP primaries tomorrow.
Well, so Serwaa, as you mentioned, I produce the show.
Right.
So I'm responsible for whatever happens on the show.
Right.
So, yes, first of all, nobody should be made and nobody should apologize for their opinion. No matter how unpalatable the opinion is.
Okay.
No matter how provocative that opinion is.
Okay.
And I'll go to every length and every breadth to defend anybody who says an opinion. Because like I say, opinions are like noses.
Yes.
Everybody has one. Yes. What happened was not Lily apologizing for her opinion. No. Mm-hmm. In fact, we have an opinionated segment called Inside Out on the show.
That's what
that's the one you
That's
reference.
what I talk about.
Exactly.
Okay.
Lily's apology was first of all to the viewers for choice of words. See, some of the words used were words that if you had uttered them, I'm coming.
To the
hold
minister.
On. Yeah, I'm coming. I'll come to that. If you use those words, Serwaa will ask you to retract on the show.
Okay.
Yes, those words might have been used on other platforms, but that's not our platform. So we cannot be responsible for what somebody utters on his platform. So I've heard that reference. They mentioned this person is insulting everybody. You know the number of suits that a person is dealing with, right? So that's them.
You have opinions on this show.
I get that. So there go be opinion, right?
Yes.
Go and watch it again and find out whether the choice of words were the same. You get the point. So it is, and Lily on this platform mentioned that she's apologizing for the unsavory remarks. She used the word unsavory, right? Apologize to the minister because in the usage of those words, the minister's name came up.
That what?
No, where those words were used, referencing the decision to offer the YouTuber the passport. The minister's name came up directly, which is linked to those words.
That why no.
So that's why
the minister
apologized. But like I said, for the opinion she said, I will defend her today, I will defend her tomorrow. If she wants to repeat that opinion, I'll give her the platform to repeat it. Okay. But without those words.
Okay.
Just let me have 30 seconds of your time. The fact still remains that, as you've rightly said it, I don't think the person I have known for quite a long time in his personal life and professionally, the minister in question, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, is not in any way mean. Neither is he the type that is.
Don't go there.
No, I'll tell you.
I also you want to bring this topic?
I know who he is. He will never in any way take his phone to call anyone. And demand an apology. That I can tell you on authority. He's not that mean.
I don't want you to go there
going
because I also know him. I equally know him.
I'm not speaking for him. I am saying that the person I have known personally in his personal life.
But on this platform, you can't speak for the minister.
Oh, I'm not speaking for him.
What you are doing is speaking for him.
30 seconds is up.
Look,
you have 30 seconds.
First of all, as journalists, no journalist can tell me he or she is neutral. There is no neutrality in anything.
I don't think anybody should be.
No, I'm coming. I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
Be objective.
Yeah. You have to be impartial in whatever you say. Neutrality doesn't count. That is why every journalist has an opinion on any matter. And we are free to express those opinions when we have them. And therefore, look, I still insist that it was needless, the apology was needless, but it's because you people say you are protecting your integrity and all that. But I think that she did not go outside the norm in criticizing the decision taken by government or the minister. Such decisions have been criticized before. And nobody has asked those people to apologize to anybody, even with harsher words. And I'm saying that this opinion, then that you say you have an opinion on this platform, that people express their opinion. So those opinions do not affect people. They do not affect people directly. And therefore, when you express harsh opinions on a matter, the person should ask you to withdraw or apologize. I think it's not fair. And this minister you are talking about, if we were supposed to subject him to diligent scrutiny, you see the sort of person we are talking about. Even when he stopped people from traveling, he stopped people from traveling. So people,
he's never used any.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
You want to go there?
I
have no.
You see what
That's what I'm saying. I don't go there.
What I said at the beginning of
we know this minister you are talking about, and I have said that we even made the wrong choice in giving him that ministry.
Goes to the poll.
Me, you want to challenge me? Let's come on this show.
She said MPP, let's go.
What are you talking about?
Tomorrow, 36,000 delegates are set to vote in the NPP's presidential fight. 36,000.
No.
Delegates?
211,000.
So what's, forgive me. Yeah, 211,000. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Wow. Yes, 211,000. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, but in the Ashanti region, there are 36,000.
Yes.
Okay, yes. You didn't let me land because I was reading a story from Isaac Bediako.
Okay.
Yes, Isaac sent a story. So it's for
Only Ashanti.
Only Ashanti region.
Ashanti
36,000 delegates are to vote in the Ashanti region in the NPP primaries. I mean, how could 36,000 people anyway? There are 4 main contenders.
5.
Oh, there are 5.
She used the word main, so it's okay.
In fact, there are 2 main. But there's Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. There is Kennedy Ohine Japan. There's Dr. Brian Echampong. There is Dr. Yawose Duchum. And there's Engineer Kwabena Japan. In that order.
I yield. We wish them well. Well force and I will.
Yeah, we wish, and you know, I thought that you would tell them that we will bring them.
Oh yes.
Very comprehensive coverage of the primaries tomorrow. So please stay with us from the beginning till 2 o'clock when polls close, until the last vote is counted and the winner is declared. We'll be live on your station.
Yeah.
Audu,
Yes.
before I come to you, do you want to have anything to say quickly?
Before
I leave it to the two of them.
It should be right to wish the NPP well. We are only hoping that the entire process is very successful, and there should be no need to tag, attack,
or show anybody. Give anybody a showdown.
Especially colleague journalists should be safe out there.
Absolutely,
right.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Audu.
Yes, MPP will be going to the polls, delegates, tomorrow from 7 to 2 p.m. And there are 5 contestants, Serwaa. All the contestants, to me, they qualify by Ghana's constitution. They qualify to be presidents of Ghana. They qualify. But MPP is going to the polls to elect somebody who will lead the party into the 2028 general election. And everybody knows I have a preference, the 5. And my preference is Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. There's a reason. Where MPP is now, and the anger with which Ghanaians chase MPP out of power, you need somebody with a high level of emotional intelligence, somebody with integrity, somebody with humility, and somebody with a track record in governance, to be able to maneuver and assuage the feelings of Ghanaians. And you need that person. And that person is that personality is with Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. So as I said, at the period in which we are now, MPP delegates need to choose somebody with a high level of emotional intelligence, integrity, record in governance, and above all, humility to be able to assuage the feelings of Ghanaians. And that person is Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
Even against the prophecy.
Which prophecy?
By Prophet El Bernard.
Oh, the prophecy need the Apayo.
What does Apai mean?
Apai means equal.
Okay.
In fact, Baumia has more prophets prophesying for him than.
Okay, but Prophet El Bernard,
yes,
prophesied in 2024
yes,
that NDC was going to win the election.
Why?
And win parliament as well.
But even you, IB, I sat here with him. IB knew NDC was going to win. In fact, IB told me.
But he didn't know that NDC was going to win the parliamentary seats.
He knew. IB said it here.
The parliamentary.
Yes.
So what's your point?
My point is that, as for prophecy, people, you don't need to be a man of God before you see what is going to happen in future, based on current circumstances. And I'm saying that the prophets have come. In fact, if you count the number of people who have prophesied, there are more who are prophesied for Dr. Mahmoud Bamiyan than...
Okay, it's good that Wilberforce is here, because Wilberforce is a pastor.
No, we'll get to him. When you
He's
talk
a pastor, so I really want to know...
I believe in men of God. I don't discount what people see. But it is your same Bible who say that, I don't know the quotation, maybe he will help me, that we prophesy, we see in part and we prophesy in part. Yeah. It means that you may not see everything. And therefore what you have seen, that's why some people keep it to themselves. Because immediately you play God, you claim to be the Alpha and Omega, God may show you that you are nobody. Because if you do that, you'll be like Pharaoh, who once said that he was God. He saw how he ended up in the sight of God. So I'm saying that the prophecies have been there. But it's not just the prophecies here, because Apino, in fact, Baumia has more. Dr. Baumia has more. So that's not what I'm dealing with. I am dealing with delegates who know what they want. Delegates in this tradition, MPP tradition, who have consistently voted in a certain manner. And that manner is that they know at any particular point who should lead that party. And I think that this time it will not be different. The delegates of MPP know that at this time that MPP is, the only obvious choice that they will go for, or they should go for, and they will go for, is Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
All right.
Why? You are cutting me short. I have to.
I beg you. Fortunately for you.
Okay. My sister is coming.
So
if you do what I want to do.
Yes, that's
fine.
Yes.
That's why I just wanted to talk briefly about something.
Don't worry. I'm sure that there's a plan for you to speak tomorrow or something.
No.
Next
we'll join us for the
I've been told. I've been assigned some people have already.
So you won't come to us.
They've already contacted me.
But you're coming here.
First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9 and 10.
Yeah, it's a reference.
It says that, for we know in part, and we prophesy in part.
Mm-hmm.
But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away with.
Mm-hmm.
So it is true that we know in part, and we prophesy in part. There is no prophet who can claim that he has prophesied imperfect.
No.
That prophet is a false prophet. Any prophet who is prophesying will prophesy the part he sees and not the part he does not see. But that which is perfect will come.
But Pastor, sorry. So is it okay for us not to, be hard on the prophets as and when they go amiss?
So the problem is that you have prophets who claim to know it all and to know it in full.
In fact, they even
and whenever they do that, it creates the problems that we have and the problems that they have as prophets. So if you were the prophet and you were going to prophesy and you prophesy in your part, everybody will not have a problem with you. But particularly the prophet that Serwaa just mentioned, he, I think, is actually expressing his preference in the name of prophecy.
He's even campaigning.
So that's what I'm telling you. What he's doing is he's not prophesying. He's expressing his preference. And I can stand up to him any day, any time, anywhere.
He's even campaigning.
Yes. So that's why I'm saying that he's expressing his preference, not a prophecy. And he should give us a break with prophesy, with speaking everywhere about his preference, including abusing his own congregants by standing on the podium and saying that those of you who are connected or whatever it amounts to an abuse. And he's expressing his preferences, not prophesying.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
By the way, prophesied that Akufo-Addo was going to win 2012. It didn't happen. Yes, it did.
Oh, okay. I can't speak to that.
That was
I'm
stick,
not
stick,
aware.
stick,
That was in
stick,
part.
stick and stay with this
us,
platform.
yes.
Tomorrow, we'll
But
find out
tomorrow-
which prophet is winning and which prophet is
Absolutely,
losing.
absolutely. By tomorrow, we'll be making headway. We'll start our coverage at 7 a.m. Here on the show. Okay. IB, our friends are watching.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hello, our friends.
You know them.
We know each other.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, thank you for coming, gentlemen. Wilberforce Asari is the political editor for Asasi Radio. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is the head of current affairs at the EIB network and the producer of the show. And Fred Duho is a diplomacy and international relations correspondent for the EIB network. Audu Mahama is the managing editor for the Custodian newspaper. Stay with me after the break. There's more. You're welcome back to the show. This is GH Today. I'm Serwaa Amihere. There's going to be a fireside on the power of music with executive producer, writer, and presenter of long-running program Music and the Spoken Word, Derek Porter. And this morning he joins me in the studio. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Wonderful. Thank you.
So tell me, who is Derek Porter, for those of us who don't know you as much?
Well, I have the opportunity to serve on behalf of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as the executive producer, the writer and presenter of what is the world's longest continuous running radio and television network broadcast, Music and the Spoken Word, which is aired every Sunday morning for nearly 100 years from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Right. How did you get into that role?
Well, I had spent the last 20 years as an entrepreneur and in a global business. One day, the president of our church came to me and asked if I would be willing to make a pivot in the way that I was spending my time and the things that I was doing, and to instead focus on the power of uplifting music and helping this broadcast continue to be spread throughout the world. So it came as quite a surprise to me and my wife and our children, but it felt right, it felt good. And so we said yes to that assignment, and have moved forward now for the last 2 years, spending our time weekly focused on music and the spoken word.
Why do you think that spoken word and the kind of music that you do still resonates with people?
I believe that all humans across the earth have a desire to be recognized and to be able to feel a connection with God. And there's certain music in our lives for certain times that can help us feel that connection. And sacred and uplifting and spiritual music is one of those. It's helped me in my times of need and times of trial. And it produces feelings in our hearts. And those feelings give us courage and conviction to move forward. And so even though this broadcast has been around for 100 years, we have found that more and more stations continue to pick it up. We're now broadcasting in more than 50 countries with nearly 7 million people a week watching. And I think those numbers have resonated with me and telling me that people are still looking for uplifting and powerful music in their lives.
I see. Where do you find the inspiration to do what you do? Doing it week after week.
Yeah, week after week it is there. And I look to the peoples of the earth. I have opportunity to travel quite broadly. And every country I go, this is our 4th African country in just the last 7 or so days. We'll be in Nigeria later next week. I have met people that inspire me, and I hear and listen to their stories and then write about them. And so in our 30-minute broadcast, we have about 25 minutes of music and 3 minutes of the spoken word, which seeks to tell a universal story each week, maybe about companionship or about community or about prayer or about friendship or forgiveness. And these inspiring stories come from the peoples of the earth.
What role do you think what you do inspires hope?
Well, hope is needed. It feels perhaps more than ever. And if we just have hope in our hearts, that is the catalyst to lead us on to so many other decisions that are needed to help us have fulfill our full potential. And so our hope in the broadcast is if we can just provide 30 minutes of peace and of hope and of love, those feelings, we believe, sink deep into our hearts and help us say, I may not know how to solve all the problems in my life that are so big, but I know how to make it through today. And if I can just get through today, I can make it to tomorrow. And that is what hope does, is it germinates within us and it leads us along, step by step, along the path to a fuller, brighter, more joy-filled life.
Is this your first time in Africa?
It is my first time in Africa.
Well, what are some of the things that you've noticed in terms of what you do? The culture, how does it blend with the music and even the spoken word that you do?
I have loved my time in Africa so far. It started in South Africa. It went to Zimbabwe. We went to Kenya. We're now here in Ghana. We'll go to Nigeria. I called my wife and our children. I said, you have to come. You have to come with me the next time I'm here, because what I have found in every stop is exactly what's on your face right now. A bright, smiling face. People that have been friendly and welcoming.
Right.
I have been inspired by their sense of just pressing forward, continuing to walk and to move. And so as I have looked at that, I have already collected stories and thoughts and feelings that, in fact, we are going to be sharing globally my time here in Africa. We're filming here in Ghana today, and we're talking about these words that I have found across the entire continent, starting with Ubuntu in South Africa, up here to Ghana with Nakabom, over into Nigeria, and other words that talk about community and friendship. And as we try to share joy, that we receive more joy ourselves. And that's our purpose for being here, is to tell this story to the entire globe.
Okay. You know, even listening to you and from the videos of yours that I have seen, your messages are very intentional, and you try to cut across, you know, regardless of what faith or religion that one belongs to. How do you do that?
Well, I believe that there is one divine truth that links us all. And I believe that is that we are children of God.
Okay.
And regardless of how we choose to manifest that, through different faiths, different religions, or even some with no faith at all, that truth is still a truth. And so the messages that I seek to write, I believe, come from heaven, and that they are universal. They strive to be universal in nature. Okay. Meaning that they appeal to any person with faith or someone who chooses not to practice a faith. The vast majority of viewers of music and the spoken word are not members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but they express a wide array of people, from Christians to Jews to Muslims to Buddhists. You name it. We have a wide array of people that tune in and watch and communicate with our program.
You know, for all the years that you've been doing this, have you had real-time experience of people whose lives have been impacted because of something you've said to them?
Every week that happens, and I give thanks to God as that happens, because it's actually not about me, but it's about syncing them together with heaven. One very short experience. The very first message I ever wrote, I labored on it for hours and hours and hours, and it was titled Everyday Courage. And I got a letter shortly after this aired, the first one I had written, and it was from a woman who with her husband watched the broadcast of Everyday Courage. He died just a couple of hours later, and it was their last memory together. And she printed this out and put it on the wall, and she said, because of that message that came through the power of the Holy Spirit, I feel that I can have the courage to exercise everyday courage in my life and to keep walking forward. And we are so grateful for those experiences that come, reminding us again, it's not about me, it's not about any one person, but it's about our connection to the divine.
Okay. You said that you love Africa, but what do we get from you? What will be, you know, the takeaway that you think Africans will get from your visit?
Well, I hope that the African people that we are connecting with will look at the program that we're offering and recognize that it is an offering of peace and hope and joy, and that it is universal in nature. And we want to bring the Tabernacle Choir and orchestra at Temple Square, which arguably is one of the greatest choirs in the world, 360 members strong with a 100-piece orchestra, nearly 50 people behind the stage. They all do it on a volunteer basis. Nobody is paid, including myself. This is an act of service. It is an offering that is given to the world. So I hope the African people can feel that in our hearts, that is offered, that is given for no purpose. There's no profit here. This is a non-profit organization. The only purpose is to offer a symbol of connection to God and to help them feel whatever feelings He wants to send them.
When is this event happening?
This event will be this Sunday at the Christiansborg Stake Center of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at 6:00 p.m. And all are invited and welcome.
Is there any amount to pay to be a part of it?
No, there is not. It's free to the public. It's free to anybody that would like to come. We'll have choirs that are singing hymns of praise. I have opportunity to address the audience about the power of the spoken word. And we also will have representatives, senior members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints who represent the 16 countries in the greater Africa West area.
Okay. Finally, before you go, for someone who is watching the show and watching you for the first time, what message of hope do you have for them?
My message of hope is to just keep walking, keep moving forward. There are days and times and seasons in our life where things feel heavy and it feels like, can I make it through? The answer is a resounding yes. There is no challenge too great that as we turn our hearts to heaven, that heaven will not help us accomplish that walk. And so my message is to keep walking. I'm striving to do that in my own imperfect way. And I would invite all of us to do that, knowing that God is on our side. He is with us every step of the way.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. Derek Porter is an executive producer, writer, and presenter of the long-running program Music and the Spoken Word with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and I wish you the very best on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Stay with me. After the break, there's more. To the show. This is GH Today. I am Serwaa Amihere. This morning, I'm going to have a conversation with the former Deputy Director of Communications, Office of the former First Lady. She's a former Deputy CEO of the National Youth Authority. She's a special aide to one of the front runners of the NPP's flag bearership race, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And she was 2024 NPP parliamentary candidate for the Adentan constituency. Akosua Menu, she's probably called Cozy. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
How have you been? Happy New Year.
I've been well. I've been following you.
Oh, please.
You've been inspiring some of us.
You've
to
been
hit the books again.
Oh, I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. You've been in the public eye very recently, doing a lot of work, activism, communication, electoral politics. And how is it like? How has it been?
Well, ever since I cut my teeth in politics and also having been a parliamentary candidate, it only stands to reason that I continue in that stead. And again, there are not enough women in the space, so
right.
It's some level of responsibility in that you have to conduct yourself a certain way. And you and I know, the more you put yourself out there, if you are more visible online, the more, it comes with all sort of attacks and, but it's been good. Last year, middle of last year, I officially joined the campaign team of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And in the last couple of months, we've been fixated on ensuring that he's maintained as the flag bearer. On my end, as far as the constituency is concerned, because you brought that up, I'm still engaged somewhat. I get invitations, church programs, youth programs. The ones I can, I go. The ones I can't, I send representation. And the funerals also never end. The funeral invitations. It's part of our politics. So we have to do with it, yeah.
There are some things that you have mentioned that we will go into. Please do not say that I brought them up because you introduced them in your conversation.
Oh, my dear.
But one of the things that, I will not miss going into is women in politics. But, before we get there, what has surprised you most being in opposition? Because you have served in different capacities. You were directly under the former First Lady. You went to the National Youth Authority. You do a lot of, activism on social media. Yeah. How has it been?
Opposition has been interesting, I must say. And for our followers or our supporters, it almost seems as if not much has changed as far as their wants or needs are concerned. They still expect that their needs are met. They still expect that they have a listening ear. Irrespective of where you were or what you're doing now, they still expect to be engaged. But for me, it's a sign that for our great party not to give up on it and to ensure that we get them engaged and we also bring others on board. So the most pleasant thing, though, is that you get a bit of quiet and a resting period. It's not back to back to back to back. But fortunately, during times like this, you're able to assess the last couple of years, what you did right, what you did wrong, and to position yourself for better. So, yeah, it's not bad.
When you say what, you get to reflect, see what you did right, what you didn't do right. Has politics been harder emotionally than you anticipated?
Yes. Politics it takes a lot. It takes a toll on you. And we underestimate the mental health risks for politicians. I won't even make it about a gender thing, but even the men also go through it. Because it is assumed that once you have put yourself out there, you have to be available to people 24/7. They will call you, doesn't matter the time. When they call and they introduce themselves, it's all about, we're in the same family, I have this emergency. It doesn't matter whether you can or cannot, but they are placing their needs on your table with the expectation that you solve it. And it gets very difficult because it's resource sapping. And I've heard so many people over the years say they regret even contesting or putting themselves out there. And for me, it's often a lesson that you have to manage yourself and learn to say no when you cannot. Because often, sometimes going above and beyond doesn't necessarily bring any rewards. So you have to find a way to be okay with helping out and also okay with saying no when you can't.
You won the internal elections, to represent NPP in the 2024 elections, but you didn't win for the constituency. What do you think went wrong? Because winning internally itself was a very great feat.
Yeah. So when I contested for the primaries,
if you can please speak up a bit.
When I contested for the primaries, a lot of people didn't give me a dog's chance. They thought I wasn't going to win, and then it happened. We got to the main election, and some of the challenges, I would say, on ground during campaign, I would hear things like, I like you, but I don't like your party. Right. You would hear things like, if you weren't contesting on the tickets of your party, I'll be fine with that. You'd also hear from our party members that I don't want to vote. And then when you find out why, is either something somebody said, some expectation that wasn't met, some disappointment in hoping to have gotten a certain opportunity. And one thing I noticed for sure was that we hadn't engaged our base enough. Maybe town hall meetings, maybe small group meetings, maybe general meetings, whatever it was, we hadn't communicated enough with them. So they felt detached from governance. They didn't feel like they were getting any benefits. And when they say all politics is personal, first they used to say all politics is local, but now people look at it as a direct personal relationship as far as their benefits are concerned. The other challenge also was with, Adenta is like, I would say it's like a mini Ghana. So whatever is happening on the national stage, everybody in there is somewhat feeling it as well. It's not like a traditional Equiapim South seats where most of the people even live there and vote. Adenta people, there are so many moving parts. There's a lot of social mobility. People actually live there but don't vote there.
Oh, right.
I see people who say, oh, you're my constituent, I'm your constituent. I'm like, okay, but I don't vote here. So it got to a time where like, oh, we've been campaigning to the wrong people.
Right.
So they live there, but they vote outside. But I would say, though, that there have been 3 independent researchers on the importance of some of the actions and inactions as far as the previous government was concerned. Don't forget, Adenta is somewhat tagged as middle-class elite, but it's fairly high and low. You'd have bread and butter issues at the very, hitting hardest in some areas. You also have the middle class who unfortunately were hit by the DDP intervention. So it's so many moving parts, but they all get affected. And I don't want to come out to vote. And we saw that. There was a low turnout at the polls. Ultimately, the figure is about 2.1 million of our members that didn't vote. Overall, for the flag bearer, he had 42%. If you take parliamentary candidates or MPs, the chunk of votes was just about 32%, which means that ultimately it means the party didn't look good.
Right.
So there's a lot of introspection to reposition the party to see where we got it wrong.
And you think that you've done that?
No. I think that we are now getting into that. We're going through a process of selecting our flag bearer. Once that is done, then we know our work is cut out for us. It's not just marketing him, but looking at what didn't appeal to people so much. As far as recognizing the party is concerned, you'd hear people say, oh, the middle class, which happen to be our base, are no longer, they don't feel like they can identify with us anymore. And these are hard truths that we have to accept to see how we can reposition and make it attractive again. We've done it before, we can do it again.
Okay, personally for you, before we move on from the Adentan constituency, I was one of the people that actually rooted for you to win that seat. But I was really sad when you didn't win it. But I was also very proud of you that you got the number of votes that you did. But how did it make you feel, that you didn't win? Because I was so sure you were going to win, and I was ready to party. How did it make you feel?
So when before you get into an election, even for my primaries, you have to literally have an internal conversation with yourself on the possible outcome. You do everything you can to win. However, if you don't win, what's next? What's the plan? Now, for the main election, I told myself, I've done something that I never thought possible. I never thought I'd go for a primaries. In fact, I remember having a conversation with my mom somewhere 2019 or so, and she was saying, I don't think you should ever do primaries and all that. It's so exhausting. And you see all the things that the women go through and the things they say about them. And then when I said I wanted to go for my primaries, she was the first person to say, hey, go. I think you can do well, right? So it transitions. Then it hits you that the numbers are not coming as you expect. People that you even rely on are not showing up. And then it hits you, the results coming, you've lost. What do you do with it? The hardest thing is looking in the eye of your volunteers, your campaign team members, and it was heartbreaking. You would think that somebody had died. There were people crying as if, they'd lost someone. And for you, the leader, you have to stay strong and reassure them.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry in fact, what hit me was when I saw we had lost the national election. Then my personal ambition meant nothing. Because we had lost the bigger picture.
Right.
So that really hit me, and I was thinking about the flag bearer, I was thinking about his spouse, I was thinking about the campaign team, I was thinking about the sacrifices people have made, I was thinking about what next. Like, it was all a moment of overwhelming, it was a reality that, I didn't see this coming. But at the same time, you have to deal with it. So you first deal with your team, you do your thank yous, you appreciate them for their efforts. So I was literally from 2022, that from primaries to the mini elections, like literally 3 years or 2.5 years of your life on the trot. And then, so the next day was my daughter's birthday, actually. So 7th December, 8th December is her birthday. And she said something to me. She said, the loss doesn't define you, right? Oh. And I'm like, look at her going day to me on me. And we just had to focus on her birthday. And it was okay. I just told myself. And the messages I got, forget the trolling online, and because that's, again, I'm saying that you have to do literally mind surgery, knowing that once you put yourself out there and you are visible, the attacks will come. The evil eye. Some people just don't want to see progress, So I was just getting messages and from people that I never thought were even following me. So you made a believer out of me. Your brand of politics is unique. I kept getting messages like that, and it was comforting. But it wasn't easy because it's like, you've lost an election. What next? One of the things that helped me recover quickly was TikTok. TikTok is,
it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
And the party faithfuls on there, the young people, were still fighting propaganda. Yeah, you've won, but you lied about this. And I'm thinking, these guys are not, they don't hold party positions. They were not on the ballot, but they still believe in the cause. So we have to, get up, dust ourselves up, and, go at it again. So I remember
How much did you spend on that election?
Oh my God. I don't think I can put a sum here, but I would say that for
Give
those...
me a rough figure.
So if I have to put all the projects together, D-Day, I think it will shock you. If I put everything together, especially because I went heavy on showing capacity, especially with projects, was in the region of close to 8.5
million cedis.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's even for those who were advising me. I was like, you need a lot. And it's sad because first you need to convince people that you can do it, but you don't do it for free. You'd hear somebody say, Madam, you pay £1 but then you do now nisika So it's like, how do I let you know that I can actually do this without necessarily, So it's raising funds, and I would say that some of the people I least expected came through. And sometimes I'm like, can you take this project up for me? They do it. I mean, it was over time. I'm talking from the start to the finish, not all the way from primaries all the way to the election. Yeah.
Will you go again?
That decision, I think after Saturday I'll know.
After Saturday,
after Saturday, but I would say that there's overwhelming support. There are those who didn't even support me in the primaries who are saying, you know what, we're gonna be there for you, and it's humbling. Having somebody not think you can do it and then saying you made a believer out of me, I think that it goes a long way, because we don't get enough. We are judged harshly. When we are assertive, we are arrogant.
Right.
When you are firm, you are disrespectful. When you are clear what you want and how you want to go about it, you're opinionated. They don't give those same labels to the men when they scream and shout and throw tantrums at the barest minimum. But I would say, though, that it's exhausting as far as resources are concerned. There was a program 2 days ago, GHOne said, it's like a CSO, they wrote out a paper on money limiting women in politics. So if you didn't go to good schools, or you don't have a network, or you don't have friends, you are cut off from coming into the space. Even though they can do filing fees and whatnot and cut it down to 50% for women and youth, is still a stumbling block. So if we're not careful, we're going to have people who really are not passionate about moving this country forward, but just to, occupy space and amass wealth. And we don't want that.
Speaking of support, there's one thing I've noticed about the NPP. I know that you will not necessarily agree with me on that, but you celebrate, I'm going to ask anyway, you celebrate women, right? Celebrate women in your party. You like you said, you slash the filing fee and the nomination forms and whatnot. But we don't see a lot of people, women, in leadership positions. Why?
Again,
at least you agree.
I agree. We don't. So for me, I always put it in my mind, I don't want to be anybody's role model, but I also want to be a setting standard for young women who want to do politics. It is difficult because there are not enough women collaborating.
Okay.
We can collaborate even if you're on the other side,
right,
to ensure that we get things done. Affirmative action bill, it shouldn't be the mainstay that the MPP pass it on. The NDC has to ensure that they meet the target. President John Mahama said 30% of women will be in his cabinet. He hasn't met that quota.
You didn't even do it at all. You didn't.
But we passed the bill, though.
But
we didn't make that promise.
What's passing the bill
but
without
we didn't make that promise. We didn't make that promise. Put 30%.
But
he
as
made
a
that
woman,
promise.
does it not bother you that your party didn't put a lot of women in positions?
Actually, my party put a lot of women in positions. In the previous government, before 2024 elections, the women were even on both sides. It was 20 apiece parliamentary candidates. Again, it is not easy for women to go through politics. You're attacked, your family is attacked. If I show you some of the propaganda or agenda that people cook up, people get shocked when they want to contest for an election, and they think that the resources to run will come from the party. And it's a wake-up call that you have to raise resources yourself. It's a shock for people because they assume that the party is the vehicle and they have to ride on that and the party has to fund it. It's not easy. So it becomes your personal ambition. What are you seeking out of this for yourself? Is it to make impact, or you just want to get your name out there? Now, there's also not enough safety nets or safeguards for women. I'll give you an example. The Deputy Transport Minister, she was training the other day.
Yeah.
Why? Because the claim is that she dresses nice. Think about it. She's visible online. If she wasn't visible online, do you think she'll be attacked? Would she have been attacked? No. You are visible online. You get dragged every few days it's like an extreme sport for people who enjoy making you a target just to get their pages to be followed, clickbait and all. So a woman looks, in fact, sometimes on my comments, you'd have somebody write, "You're too beautiful to do politics. Don't subject yourself to these people. Why are you doing politics?" So in some people's minds, it's such a dirty game that why do you even want to subject yourself to it? But Serwaa, we're a developing country. We see the impact women make when they are put in positions. My party has to do better with empowering women and uplifting women. I agree, because I get that feedback. Does your party like women? And I hesitate before I answer that question because there are not enough examples for me
to point to.
And the people who, if you take Esla, some or Honorable Esla will say, "Oh, she's this, she's that," but Esla has to be that way to protect herself, to show that you can't take me for granted or come at me anyhow. And it's misconstrued, but it's a safeguard. It's like a shield she's putting on, because on any given day, at any given time, there's not enough people saying you deserve to be in the room. You always have to fight to be in the room.
Do you feel that way too? Because there are people who have said you are arrogant, you are rude. I'm sure that you've heard some of them.
Oh, I get it all the time.
All the time.
So,
but do you think it's something that you do? I don't agree though, but that's because we meet people or we get talked about people who don't know us, right?
Yes,
and
yes.
say things that they don't know.
Yeah.
But do you think you come across that way in a bit to shield yourself, as you
First
say?
of all, I do not come across that way. What it is though is that I would not soften the truth to make you comfortable. That attempted tag comes as a result of my advocacy for my party. I was on TV, I was on radio defending the party. Very few women have been able to do that without being called arrogant or rude or dismissive. There are 3 tags that label women in politics. You're either a prostitute, you're either rude, or you're a witch. These are the 3 things. And if you are not getting feedback on that you are any of these 3, then you are not making impact.
Any impact, right.
And I've been through several spaces. Every space I've been in, the people that I worked with didn't have that to say about me. So it is normal to have that a woman has a voice and she's clear in her mind what she wants and understands what she wants to achieve. And it can be scary for people who are not used to that. Typically, for any woman who wants to run for any position, the first people to come against them are women. Think about it.
Yeah.
There are times that things have happened, and even before women would analyze it, it's the woman that starts dragging you before the men say no. Position it this way and see where she's coming from. So I don't worry about that. The thing about labels is whatever people describe you to be, if it's negative, don't give them reason for it to be true.
But how do you navigate through it? You know, because you get attacked a lot. I mean, I get my fair share, like you said, every 3 business days. But how do you manage it and tying it in with politics? Because on this show, on Wednesdays, we decided to dedicate the Wednesday show to women.
Okay.
So we had our paneling, made up of women.
Yeah.
And it was always a struggle getting women to come on because... And they tell you behind the scenes. In fact, even those who come, I don't want to say something and, to get attacked. But you have been able to manage it very fairly, very well on the internet. How have you done it?
So, it is not easy for one. You also need to have people who believe in you. So when people are saying things about you, you have that kitchen cabinet of people who know for sure that's not you. Also, you need to leave a trace of being consistent. Okay, so attacks don't last. The attacks, they don't last. They also don't stick on you. So for me, somebody on the other side saying I'm arrogant, it doesn't bother me because they are supposed to find something to say anyway. Do you understand? If it becomes persistent, then you know that it's an agenda against you. Again, the more visible you are, you have to expect to be attacked. The more visible you are, you have to expect that it makes somebody uncomfortable because they may feel that you're taking up space. So we don't have enough women, but the few who come into the space don't have it easy. Look at both sides. The more the women who are vocal, I don't say loud because I'm not loud. I have an opinion about something, I state it. It's easy for me to get attacked because you would think that I've said something wrong, but it's not in a disrespectful or rude tone. Sometimes it's sarcastic, but it points out to something that I feel is a failing on the part of government or something that is wrong that has to be fixed. And there are times that something I posted has generated a reaction which has effected a change. I don't even come back and say, oh, based on what I wrote, something has happened. But it gives me some joy to know that it is not a negative effect being in the political space, but it's actually a positive, effect on that.
Okay, let's move to tomorrow's elections. So tomorrow, you're going to the polls. About 211,000 of your party's delegates are going to vote to elect a flag bearer. You have openly endorsed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for tomorrow's contest.
Yeah.
Why?
So there is a certain category or a list that I look to in choosing a flag bearer. Okay. 2023, I supported Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia because I believe that out of all those contesting, which was in the beginning 10, he stood tall. Competence, commitment to the party, consistency, and above all, national, putting the nation first. So we are in a developing country, and even though if you would compare Ghana to other countries within Africa, it would seem that we are doing so well, we could do better. And it's only because we are not consistent in putting leaders who have a vision in place. It was for the same reason I was happy to support Nana Akufo-Addo, and his flagship policy of free SHS kicked in, giving opportunity to young people to get educated. Okay. When you look at Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, ever since he joined the party, his commitment to the party has been, to say it, above board. His sacrifice to the party, above board. His consistency, above board. We selected him, okay, chose him. He won a majority. Went up against people who also have a base somewhat in the party. Came out, he was voted, he lost. When we went into the election, our motto or slogan was to break the 8, if you remember, because we knew it was hard to. It's difficult for countries in Africa to go a third term. We knew this, but we thought it was possible because there was enough evidence of what we had achieved, right? There was enough evidence of what we had been able to do. Because in our first term of being in governance, per the manifesto, we had done what? We had done over 75%. So you vetted that manifesto here, and the media vetted it 75%. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's vision, we are moving into the 4th industrial revolution. Most people don't even know that, what it means. But positioning Ghana there, taking advantage of that, he's the only person I believe gets it. He's people-centered. So we have...
And all the other people are not people-centered?
I'm talking about what I see in him, which far outweighs the other qualities they have. He puts the nation first. See how he conceded gracefully after losing the election. There are people who say they will never have conceded. They would have waited for the last ballot to be counted.
But I'm sure that at some point you already knew that you had already lost.
The nation on the eve of the 7th going into the 8th. It wasn't about his personal ambition. It was saving the lives of Ghanaians. He didn't want a single person to lose their blood. The third thing, he's principle-driven. When it's difficult to have somebody run an election, constantly be attacked, and decide that I'm making this contest about ideas and my vision. He's been attacked, he's been dragged. So I'm sure you've seen some of the things and you are shocked. Other candidates have not even made it, their message. They mention his name more than they even mention his message. His principle is, let's do the politics well. Let's do it clean. Let's stay on ideas. Let's stay on solutions. Let's make it count. And most importantly, in the last couple of months, if I'm to go by how all of them have conducted themselves, again, he's the one that everybody's taking pot shots at, but he has maintained extreme emotional intelligence. He's maintained an amazing sense of judgment. Look, if you want to be a flag bearer, people will come at you with all sorts of data, news, stories. And it's important for you to vet the information that you are getting. If the information is wrong, and within your team, they couldn't flag that it was wrong, and when it got to you, you didn't have the sense of judgment to see that what they were saying was wrong, and then you go ahead to use it to attack anybody, then you can't be flag bearer. Because at all material times, a sense of judgment should be paramount, and he has it. Nothing happened in 2020. As far as we sold him, we marketed him. He's the most marketed candidate amongst all of them.
Okay, but with the marketing that you talk about, Akosua, he still lost. About 2.1 million of your party supporters didn't vote.
Yeah.
You think that he has what it takes to convince those people to go back and vote and even unite the party after tomorrow?
Remember when I talked about introspection as a party? There's been 3 independent research conducted. External research, internal research. In fact, I think even more than 3. Top 3 reasons, or even top 5 reasons, does not single out the flag bearer.
But we are told, even though we haven't seen the report, we are told that there are some people who didn't vote for him because he's Muslim.
Well, if I'll take the most recent data on the reasons why people voted or what they considered not to vote, 3% said they didn't based on tribal lines, and 3% said on religious lines, which per research is negligible. It's not a dominant factor. At any given time, somebody will say, I don't like Kodjo because she's dark. It doesn't mean that I have to go and bleach to be fair, to meet that target. Out of the almost 5 million votes he got, right? 4,887,771, right? Almost 42%, 41.75%. Predominantly, I would say Christians voted. So why would we want to single out that? And it bothers me also because if you take my party, and I've said it before, development in freedom is not just about economic expression. It's having everybody everywhere within the country feeling that they can identify themselves in the party. So Serwaa is in the party. I'm in the party because I like Serwaa. There's a Muslim cleric in the party. I like him because he's in the party. People follow people. It's politics. And if people make those comments, and we have to ask that the previous flag bearers who lost in the party, did we check their churches whether they voted for them? It certainly wouldn't make sense. So let's not mainstream that conversation because the data doesn't support it. However, what the data supports is that he's the most formidable amongst all of them. Regionally, he's popular in every region except for one region, ahead of all the other candidates.
Which region is that?
Volta region. And it's no surprise.
Why?
It's a base of the other, the NDC. So you wouldn't expect that his popularity will be high there. Even in the internal election, compared to other candidates, the data that I saw just 2 days ago, high in every region.
Data by who?
I've seen APL. I've seen Musa Dankwa's poll as well. APL puts his win at 61%. Musa Dankwa puts it at 57%. I've seen even media houses do projections 53%, 54%. In every poll that has been conducted, he's the front runner. And why? Because he has conducted himself. There's a certain consistency that speaks to character. There's a certain consistency that speaks to him as a person. And people feel that there's a level of trust they can place in him just because of how he's conducted himself, especially after electoral loss. We see how people lose, even in primaries, and how they behave. You would think that it didn't matter to them what the party stood for. It didn't matter to them what they thought was important, at the very least. So it's personal ambition above the party. And for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, there are several times he put his personal life on hold to stand in the gap for the party. And it's only fair that we reward him again.
And the rest haven't done that too? Ken talks about all the jobs that he has created, all the monies that he has contributed to the party. Dr. Brian Champon says same. In fact, all of them say that they have contributed.
But what you just said, all of them have contributed in jobs and money. But the only thing that defines Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is that he's the only one with a clear vision of how to position Ghana, and he's been consistent in that regard. He's the only one that people believe, majority of the party's delegates believe that he has the party's interests at heart. And they also believe they can defend him. They believe that his conduct, as far as governance has been concerned, has always been aimed at calling out the opposition and not destabilizing the party from within. And people look at those things and feel that he's the safest pair of hands to put the party in.
If after tomorrow Dr. Bawumia does not win, will you accept the party's verdict and campaign for whoever emerges winner?
I trust party delegates. If the party delegates decide it should go another way, I'm still a party member. Whatever duties will be assigned to me, I'll do my best, as always. But I know for sure that we have to do more for Bawumia. We have to do more for Bawumia. We have to make sure that we elect him. We have to ensure that we put him forward. There's another polling that literally puts him, in terms of popularity, he's at 48%. This is somebody who lost with 41% of the votes.
Which poll is that?
Oh, it was not APL.
Global Info Analytics.
Yes, the recent, and I'm using his data because every media house relies on his data.
Yeah,
so
but
if
you
his
never
data,
you questioned his data.
I
in
never
the run
questioned.
Up to,
I didn't
to
question.
2024 elections.
I didn't question his data.
You didn't.
I didn't.
You have always
his
trusted his data.
I didn't. It's not trusting his data. I believe that
you didn't challenge the credibility of Global Info Analytics data.
When his credibility was questioned, I raised an eyebrow because the questions being asked were valid. But I also know that polls do change. So if this week you are popular, next week something could happen for you not to be popular.
So you
polls are
believe
not
in
fixed.
His polls?
So currently, since
do you
he's
believe
there,
in his polls?
Currently, since he's the one that everybody is saying is credible,
or because he says Dr. Bawumia will win, he's all of a sudden very credible.
Thankfully, he's not the only one saying Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
But he's the one that tops the list. Everyone makes reference to.
If you say so, then I'm happy that he's saying Dr. Bawumia would win. But yes, his polling, I saw a specific data on him as compared to the other candidates. Mind you, NDC doesn't have a candidate yet, but he was higher.
Okay.
Way ahead of the others. So when people make the popularity conversation, that data supports that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the most popular amongst all the candidates.
You're a Christian, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You pray very well.
Always.
Always.
NSPPD.
Right.
Fire altar.
Exactly. So you believe in prophecies?
Yes, somewhat I do, but I'm careful who I listen to.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know Prophet El Bernard?
I've heard of him, yes.
And you have seen and heard his prophecy about tomorrow's elections?
Yes, I believe he says he's a campaign manager for...
He didn't say that.
No, he said that.
That he's a campaign manager?
Yes, he said he's a
campaign
campaign manager.
Well, I am not aware. I have not seen that.
There's a video
of
that.
But he has said that God has revealed to him that Kennedy is winning.
Okay.
As a daughter of God, you believe very much in prayer, in prophecy. You don't think that his prophecy could come to pass?
So it's an election. At every point in time during an election, people figure out who they want to support. some people get reassurance when they support a candidate and a pastor somewhere, whoever says your candidate is winning. There's never been a contest where no prophecy has been given for either side. There are prophets who are saying Educhum will win. Maybe they are not saying it openly, but they are saying it personally to him.
I haven't seen.
There are prophets.
Yes, any public.
They are saying it. I'm saying that for every politician, you would have at least 10 prophets calling you to say you are winning. It's fact. But you have to be careful who you listen to. You have to be careful how they conduct themselves.
But this
you
man
have to be
prophesied
careful.
in 2024 that NDC was going to win the parliamentary seat as well.
I don't have a prophecy tracker.
But I'm telling you that
but
he did, and it came to pass.
2024, with the exception of our internal data, there's so many polls out there that said we were losing. That information wasn't hidden. It was easy for anybody to see that data.
So what's
and
your
say,
point?
My point is that people can prophesy. It's not always true. We saw it in 2024. There are prophets who said we would win as well. And as I'm a Christian, when a prophecy is, and I'm careful about prophecies because sometimes it can throw you off.
Right.
And there's no way to know but for you yourself to pray and believe that what you are being told is true. And once it's told to you, you take action. You don't just sit down and think that it will just fall out from the sky and happen. Do you understand? So there are prophets who are saying Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In fact, I saw a media house do a prophecy tracker and said 11 out of 3 prophecies. And I was wondering if there's a media commission or some commission for prophecies or something that, But 11 out of 3 prophecies predicts Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
11 out of 3?
Yes. 11?
Yeah.
11 out of 13, sorry.
Right.
11 out of 13,
yeah.
Meaning 11 for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and 3. Somebody just might use that to believe. But I think it goes beyond a man of God saying so. I believe that we have to also be discerning and to see what best typifies the party, what gives the party a good look, gives it a facelift, gives it some unique positioning to enable us campaign well going into 2028. So that's what I look forward to, and I believe that of all that has been said, it is right to give him another chance. Hardly do you have somebody come up first and win. His first effort, commendable. We should give him another opportunity again, especially when some of his ideas are literally anchoring this government as we speak.
Is it? What ideas are those?
Gold purchase program. Thank you very much. You can't argue with that. BOG has said it.
That's why we're here. So
yes,
we'll have this conversation after tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Okay.
Akosua Menu, popularly known as Cozy. She is a former Deputy Director of Communications at the Office of the former First Lady, former Deputy CEO of the National Youth Authority and Special Aide to Dr. Bawumia, and also the 2024 parliamentary candidate for the NPP in Adentan. She says she will go again. We will be here to support
what
you.
I said.
Oh, but won't you go?
It's in God's hands.
I think you should. There are so many young ladies, who and pushing and rooting for you. I think that you should go. Thank you very much for coming on the show, and I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow, to you and your candidates.
Yes. We're winning tomorrow, but we have to win. So, bright and early, cast your votes. If you're a delegate, you're not doing the wrong thing by backing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. You're actually doing the right thing. Give it your all. Tell a friend. Put that ballot in the box. It's 3 tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Akosua. Stay with me. I have one more conversation before I wrap up. You're welcome back to the show. On Health Alerts this morning, we're discussing well-neglected tropical diseases. I'm sure you're wondering what they are. I'm in the studios with Edward Tehevi. He's the Chief Biomedical Scientist for Neglected Tropical Diseases Program at the Ghana Health Service. Good morning. And Stephen Adomboating is Disease Control Officer at Leprosy Control Program at the Ghana Health Service. You're both welcome to the show. Good morning. What are neglected, tropical diseases? What are they?
Right. So, a very good morning to our listeners. We are happy to be here. When we talk about neglected tropical diseases, we are talking about 21 infectious diseases globally that afflict mankind, and they are caused by a variety of disease-causing organisms, viruses, fungi, toxins, and what have you. And globally, we are talking about 1.5 billion people who are affected. Unfortunately, about 40% of these cases are found in Africa. The bad thing about neglected tropical diseases is that they disable, they disfigure, keep people in the poverty cycle, children out of school, and infected persons are unable to do anything. This is the day we want to say enough of the troubles of neglected tropical diseases. And broadly, we can put them into two main groups. We have the preventive chemotherapy group. These are groups that you give drugs and masks, whether the person has the disease or not, to prevent and also to treat. We also have what we call the case management groups, or the skin entities. You find the cases and manage them. And my colleague, Stephen, will be talking more about the case management groups.
But you said there are 21.
21 globally.
Okay.
In country, Ghana, we have about 14 of these.
What are they?
Right. So for the PC entities, we have schistosomiasis.
What's PC and
Preventive chemotherapy. So you give drugs and masks a group of people, and then your idea behind that is to treat and also prevent the disease from being transferred from one person to the other. So we call them preventive chemotherapy. You are giving drugs and masks to people. You may have the disease or not. But once you are healthy, you are able to do your work. And we don't want you to get to a state where you are incapacitated, you can't support anything in the country or in your family.
Okay, so run us through these diseases.
Right. So for the preventive chemotherapy ones, you have schistosomiasis, otherwise known as bilharzia.
Right.
We also have lymphatic filariasis, otherwise known as elephantiasis. We have onchocerciasis. People refer to that as river blindness. You have trachoma, and then soil-transmitted hernias. And the ones I was talking about, the skin entities, the case management ones, we have human African trypanosomiasis, leprosy, yaws, borreliosa, rabies, cutaneous leishmaniasis, guinea worm, scabies, snake bite, envenoming. So about 14 in country.
When you say, Mr. Boateng, neglected diseases, why are they neglected? Why do you call them that?
Well, they are called neglected mostly or basically because of where they are located. Most of these diseases, as my brother said, are located in the tropics, where we find ourselves as a country. And within those tropical areas, they are located mostly in places where they are underserved communities, places where they have poor environmental conditions, sanitation conditions. And so these areas are neglected already, and the people the diseases affect are also neglected. And then again, when it comes to the focus or the support that or the attention that is given to these diseases, we realize that these diseases, that's the neglected tropical diseases, are always relegated to the background. When it comes to funding or donor agencies committing support to these diseases, to combat these diseases, diseases, you realize that it doesn't really flow, or there's some stifling in support to these diseases. And so putting all these things together, we realize that these diseases are neglected. I've been talking about leprosy, and even in some cases, people think they are no more in existence.
Like rabies.
Like rabies, like leprosy, like Brule ulcer, like elephantiasis.
Yeah.
People tend to believe that these diseases have been eliminated or they do not exist.
But they
haven't. No, they're still.
So the Ghana Health Service, what are you doing in that regard in Ghana especially? Because we are one of the areas, very susceptible to these diseases. What is government doing?
Right. That's a very beautiful and important question. Firstly, we have mapped the whole country to know where these diseases are.
Okay.
So over the top of my head, I can tell you that schistosomiasis is found in
Can you mention the local name, what we know?
Yes, bilharzia.
Right.
Bilharzia, right. Bilharzia is found in every district in Ghana.
Wow.
Every district in Ghana has bilharzia. And because we have mapped the country, we get support from our partners and from the government, and we give out medications, as I was saying. We call it preventive chemotherapy. So we give out these medicines to stop the disease from being transferred from one person to the other, and also to prevent new cases from coming up. So those who have the infections will be treated. And these medications are brought to us by our partners with the support of the government. So we treat and we do evaluations. After treating for a very long time, where have you reached? Are you able to say that you are at the end goal? And we've been rolling out these interventions for a very long time, and thankfully, we've made a lot of progress that I'll be talking about in a jiffy.
Okay, yes, right. I really want to know the progress that
we've
made.
So, we have set some global targets. The World Health Assembly, in their last meeting, said we want to eliminate some of these diseases by 2030. So we call it Agenda 2030. And by 2030, the thinking is that 90% of people needing interventions against these NTDs, there should be a 90% reduction of the people needing interventions. Now, number two, at least the number of countries to have eliminated one NTD should be about 100 by 2030. Those who have eradicated the disease should be about 2. 2 diseases should have been eradicated by 2030. But Ghana became the first country, sub-Saharan Africa, to have eliminated blinding trachoma in 2018. We've done very well as a country. 2015, guinea worm went down first. So we say guinea worm has been eradicated in the country. And then for elephantiasis, out of the 261 districts, 116 were found to have elephantiasis. And as I speak to you, 114 of these 116 districts have been able to interrupt transmission. So we are left with 2, Nkranza South and then Wenchi. We have put them on treatment. And when we are able to interrupt transmission, that's the disease not being spread from one person to the other, we can be saying we are there with elephantiasis. Trachoma, as I said, has been eliminated. We made a lot of progress with onchocerciasis as well. And I'm sure Steve will also tell you what has been achieved in terms of the skin NTDs as well.
Yes, Mr. Boateng,
yes.
Coming.
So he spoke mostly about the preventive chemotherapy NTDs. And so I will talk about the case management NTDs.
Sure.
And these are diseases that the individual must get the disease before an intervention is made.
Right.
Talk about leprosy or Brule ulcer or yours. And so when you look at leprosy, coming down from the year 2000, Ghana was recording in excess of about 1,500 cases every year. And currently, as a country, we are doing about 270 cases, which is a drastic reduction from where we started. Talking about Brule ulcer, and these are mostly very large ulcers that tend to take a long time to heal. Mostly in our rural areas, you see people with some of these ulcers, big ulcers that are difficult to heal. Currently, we are doing less than 50 cases per year, coming down from about 300 and over cases. Sorry. And so the success or the achievements have been many. Talking about yours, which affects a lot of school-going children and is able to keep children out of school. We are doing about 300 cases from over 1,000 cases in the early 2000s. And so these are some of the achievements that we've been able to chalk as a program.
Right. So let's now talk about the World NTD's Day, right? When is it, first of all? Today?
It is today.
It's today.
So as I speak to you, the program is ongoing.
What are you seeking to achieve, or what is the celebration about?
Good. So this day has been set aside globally to create awareness about these diseases.
Okay.
That they are still with us, they haven't gone anywhere, but with a little support, we will be able to eliminate these diseases. So I was talking about our achievements. I should be quick to add that human African trypanosomiasis, what we call sleeping sickness, was also eliminated in 2023. So Ghana has done a lot. The challenge we have now is funding. I'm sure we'll come to the funding. So creating awareness, telling everybody to come on board, and our theme for this year is Unite. So part of the unity is you giving us this, your beautiful platform, to talk about these diseases, for everybody to hear in this country. Act. Apart from uniting, you need to put all our efforts together, and then we eliminate, so that generations yet unborn will only come to hear about these diseases, but they wouldn't see them with their eyes. That is what we seek to do.
Okay.
Right.
Mr. Boateng will run us through some of the challenges that you have faced.
Right. So, in addition to what we seek to do, we also seek to celebrate people who have supported the fight against NTDs over the years.
Okay.
It hasn't been a Ghana Health Service affair all these years.
Okay.
We had some partners who have supported us in cash and kind.
Okay.
So we have Hope Rises International, if I'm permitted to mention some names.
Yes, please
Hope
do.
Rises International, that's formerly American Leprosy Mission. We have FHI 360, Sight Savers, World Vision. All these are organizations or funding agencies that have supported the fight against NTDs. And so we take this opportunity, the World NTD Day, to support them. We also use this occasion to appreciate the hard work of our frontline health workers, and then also to garner support for the fight against NTDs. Our challenges, as my brother indicated earlier, has been funding. But even before the funding, one of the biggest challenges we have had to face is stigma and discrimination against persons who are affected by these diseases. And we all know it's not by their fault. They did not go out seeking or looking for these diseases to afflict them.
Are these diseases, sorry for cutting in, but are they preventable?
Yes, these diseases are preventable, they are treatable, and with the efforts that we are pushing or we are making, it's possible to eliminate them. So yes, we can get rid of these diseases.
Okay.
Yes. So as I indicated, one of our challenges is stigma and discrimination. And I believe that if we came to the studio with someone who has been affected by the diseases, any of these diseases, it will be a challenge for you to sit here. And so it is one of our challenges.
When you say challenge, well, I am not discriminatory, so I don't know what.
Okay, and I know it's true. But
yes,
I mean, generally, the general population is what I'm referring to.
Right.
People discriminate, and it affects their health-seeking behaviors.
Right.
And so these people who are affected by these diseases tend to report late, at a point when some of their disabilities are not reversible.
Right.
That is one of the challenges.
Right.
Then again, funding. Funding is also a challenge. currently or recently, USAID has cut funding to funding support to the program, and it's also a very big challenge to us. So I think if my brother would also add a little.
Yes.
Very quickly, because
yes,
we have to go.
Yes. So the disease, as I said, those affected face stigma.
Okay.
As I speak to you, there is a team in the Bono East region, specifically GHOne, undertaking hydrocele surgeries. So one of the conditions associated with elephantiasis is what we call hydrocele. It presents itself like hernia.
Right,
but
makes your feet very big.
Yeah, there's also an elephantiasis. But this one is in the scrotal sac, a huge one.
Oh.
Right.
Really? Okay.
Very bad. That's why he's saying that if you brought somebody in here, it might be not nice.
Right.
Last year, Hope Rises, American Leprosy Mission, and then CICIVER supported us to do hydrocele surgery for a gentleman somewhere in this country. A bag of cement weighs 50 kilos. His hydrocele weighed 54 kilos.
Wow.
The biggest I have seen. So you are incapacitated, you can't do anything. Last year, we could not treat over 7 million school-age children who suffer from schistosomiasis or bilharzia and soil-transmitted herpes because there was no funding. And this has been our challenges. So we are getting support from American Leprosy Mission, now we call them Hope Rises, CICIVER, World Vision, but the funding gap is very huge.
So you want more people?
We want more people to come on board and support, and together we can get rid of these diseases. And every dose, every visit, every support brings Ghana closer to elimination by 2030.
Okay, thank you very much. But I'll give you the final words. Today being the World NTDs Day, what do you have to say to the general public? So I'll give you a minute each, please.
So these NTDs are not curses, and as my brother said, stigma delays care and causes suffering. We want to appeal to the general public. When we are giving out the medications, it's always very difficult for some people to accept it. He doesn't see himself as sick, but we have seen it from afar and want to stop the disease from coming up. They refuse us. Parents should encourage their children to be part. They themselves should be part, and together we shall eliminate these NTDs forever in this country.
Mr. Boating.
Yeah, thank you very much. And so whilst appreciating people who have supported the fight against NTDs, I would like to make a passionate appeal or a call to action for all organizations, philanthropists, persons who wish to support the fight against NTDs. It may not be cash alone, cash kind pharmaceuticals and supplies to come on board, because NTDs is directly linked to water, sanitation and health. And so we call on organizations or companies also within that space to come and support the fight. And together, I believe the 2030 agenda is very possible.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, both of you. We are grateful, and I wish you the very best with your program today as well. Edward Heavy. Heavy.
Good.
He's a chief biomedical scientist, the Neglected Tropical Diseases Program at the Ghana Health Service, and Stephen Boating is a disease control officer for the Leprosy Control Program at the Ghana Health Service. Thank you so much. I'll do some quick birthday messages before we wrap up the show.
But then the visit is ongoing, so come and join us.
Happy birthday, Prince Bentil. May the good Lord continue week. We'll see you again, God willing, Monday. I am Serwaa Amihere. Have a very good day.